labor working, 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 labor working.
Uh-huh. Everybody! Jalan, jalan, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and all the slander, try to mislead the people with their hate and all their evil. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The best thing that happened to this country is Garrett and the Labour Party. We wanna bring to bankruptcy. Now have a growth in the economy. Got a leader with endless vision, youthfulness and dedication. Suspect that things would be tight. Went to China on the next flight. Cuba and Venezuela, what a brilliant leader. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and their slander, try to mislead my people with their hate and evil. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. Chansa. Jalan, everybody, put up something red, wave it over your head. All of them forget the Carib people. Labour stepping, they want to cause trouble. For the Kalinagos had no respect, exploiting them on the water project. Supreme Court said used to bow to Labour to build their seawall. Giro, they would have to back it. Water tank on Labour fix it. Whether you teach a leader, elder, must give credit to Labour. You better believe it. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Look out for we five-star hotel, highway to Posse as well, seaport reconstruction, rosary modification. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Tansa. Jalan, no question, jalan, no question, jalan. Talk something red, wave it over your head. Some will never see the importance to give up for people assistance. So they have a problem with the clinic. Make sure say they want to block it. Imagine they get in office, what would be their wicked practice? It's for people who put you there. At all time you got to show you care. The party in a working mood, don't interrupt that move. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The government helping squatters to get their land and quarters, helping people. Some of you have an issue shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. You better know Inshallah, you best in Inshallah, you best in Inshallah. Everybody, hey, raise up something head, wave that over your head. Indeed, it is first time in our history people get medical for free. 18 and under and over 65, you shall never be deprived. Big focus on human resource, people well-being's compass, universal education, scholarship and transportation. What a selfless party would reverse our country. Yeah, we shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. Oh, but what a brilliant stadium. The bridge and road all around, improvement on all road networks. Airport is no joke. We shall not be, we shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. Everybody, Tanta, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah. Put up something head, rip it over your head. Hey, hey, everybody, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah. Hey, not white. Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question. Hey, we shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and all the slander, try to mislead the people with their hate and all their evil. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The best thing that happened to this country is Garrett and the Labour Party. We wanna bring to bankruptcy. Now have a growth in the economy. Got a leader with endless vision, youthfulness and dedication. Suspect that things would be tight. Went to China on the next flight. Cuba and Venezuela, what a brilliant leader. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and their slander, try to mislead my people with their hate and evil. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. Chance Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah, no question, Inshallah. Everybody, put up something red, wave it over your head. Inshallah, all of them forget the Carib people. Labour stepping, they want to cause trouble. For the Kalinagos had no respect, exploiting them on the water project. Supreme Scotted used to ball to Labour to build their seawall. Zero, they would have to bucket. Water tank on Labour fix it. Whether you teach a leader, elder, must give credit to Labour. You better believe it. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by by the water. Labour Party shall not be moved. Look out for we five-star hotel, highway to Posse as well. Seaport reconstruction, rosary modification. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Chance up. Inshallah, no question, inshallah, no question, inshallah. Just something red, wave them over your head. Some will never see the importance to give up for people assistance. So they have a problem with the clinic. Measures say they want to block it. Imagine they get in office, what would be their wicked practice? Is for people who put you there. At all time you got to show you care. The party in a working mood, don't interrupt that move. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved.
Yes, I. We shall not be moved. Want to say a special good evening to you, wherever you are listening across Dominica, to the north, south, east, and west coast of the beautiful Nature Island. It is another Tuesday evening right here in the Commonwealth of Dominica, and I want to share a special shout out to the folks who are joining us on the Kyrie FM Facebook page. A special good evening to you all, and welcome. I want to say a special good evening to our political leader and the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Dr. Skerrit, and to all of the cabinet ministers and senators, and to all the folks who are, of course, joining us across Dominica. Of course, St. Lucia, St. Martin, Anguilla, St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the folks in the United States and Canada. I want to say a special good evening to you in France, and of course, not forgetting Guadeloupe, Martinique, bonsoir, ça café, tosuela. Yes, it is. Yeah, man, no doubt. The 21st day of the month of June, and want to extend a special happy birthday to the folks who are celebrating their birthday on the 21st of June. Yes, as we continue to move into the 6 months of the year. And of course, as I say, good evening to you. Today is day number 14. Yes, day number 14 since the kidnapping of this child, and there has been, of course, absolutely no way about of this child, and the search continue, and it continues, people, and this is, as time go by, the situation is no doubt getting worse, and I guess people are beginning to say out there that it will take a miracle after all of these days, to really, if we get this child alive. But hope continue to still be existing among us, and the search continue. But there have been so much discussion around this matter. I've been hearing so much from various angles, and tonight we will continue to discuss this matter. We will continue to examine much of what is being said in the public domain. But before we get into all of that discussion, because as you know, these have been no doubt making the rounds on social media, on the radio, national radio station, and we've been hearing so much. But tonight we'll examine some of what we've been hearing, and to strike some balance to the discussion that is going on. The police is on the attack now by the opposition, like they always do. But tonight we'll look at a lot of different scenarios there. But as we say, good evening to you. I want to shout out my Flossie. Good evening to you. Good evening to Annette Bates. And I want to say a good evening to Jean Bogostel. Bonsoir, Sakafet, Monsieur. Mr. Monroe, good evening to you up there in Bellevue. Mr. Barron, the folks in South City, Grand Bay, how are you doing this evening there? All the Petit Savant folks and Bellevue. I want to say a special big up there to the folks in the East Coast of Dominica. They are, of course, always listening to the Next Level, Desi and family. Mr. Barron, good evening to you. Evelyn, good evening up there in La Roche, in Dallas, and all the good folks in Dallas who are always locked in Lapland, Bodica. I want to say a special good evening to Grand Fin and Mon John and Riviere Civic. What about Cassie Bruce, the Kainago territory? A special big up to all of you there in the northern part of the island there. Posse Massive, good evening to you in Palmville, Vekas, and Thibault. Always the good folks out there in Wesley and Calibishi doing. I want to say a special good evening to you in Wesley and Woodfordale. Of course, not forgetting that we are continuing work on the international airport. So with all of the things that are happening, the Labour Party continue to carry out its work and function and ensure that it can deliver for the people of the country. Want to say good evening to Collier and Dublin and Bios, of course, St. Joseph and Mero, our folks in Massac and Maho, Kenfield doing this evening there. Want to shout out Irma and Tessa, DJ Bones, my brother, how you doing this evening there? My family, and of course, to all the good folks up there, always tuned in. Good evening to you, Mrs. Tavernier and Mrs. Tavernier. Of course, want to shout out Joyce up there in Sophia Scottshead, and all the folks who are always listening there in Newtown and Sichonie. Yes, Kingshill, Fortney. Good evening, Rosa Central. Yeah, man. How are the folks in the valley doing tonight? Want to say a special big up to you wherever you are tuning in to the next level tonight as we continue on this discussion here tonight. But before we do all of that, I always, of course, like we do, take one or two of your calls, but we'll do that as we go along in our discussion there. But before we do that, let's just go right to the telephone one time. Good evening on the overseas line.
Simeon.
Yes, sir.
That's my brother.
Yeah.
Simeon, parfois, mon cas bien médecin en créole. Simeon, rien au vrai. Police là qui fait, au casque critique. Rien au vrai gouvernement qui fait, au casque critique. Il y a au casque, il y a, comment ça se encore? Allez, vous nous réveillez tout. Yo tout, c'est au casque. Ça ne veut pas dire rien, yo pas critique. Si on a qui j'adore des cas de police, on écoute là à des polices. Pourquoi on comprend que pas qui te racheter yo hein? Yo qu'à foutre une balle, yo va tirer pour tuer. Mais la balle la pointe, il y a billet mort pour casser. Mais c'est mon la personne pas que dit rien, yo casse on passe puis yo tout moins pour moun dit yo parce que moi yo dit les nox c'est à boire qu'à marcher sous les nox c'est sale qui pas nous que bon après négatif là ça. Je voulais écouter négative, on est allé à l'écrit 90 sites, est-ce que avec monsieur Mac, yo tout si au cas c'est toujours négatif, mais c'est ça qui arrive. On savait que c'est privé pour nous trouver tout le monde, mais bon Dieu bon, et c'est nous que trouver vivant, avec c'est nous que trouver mort, parce que si donc côté gars senti, puis c'est que nous avons que pour l'ordre. Mais si mais c'est négatif. C'est négatif avec au cas. Mais mon blé dit on vit avec moi. Simeon, nous pas me réveiller. Parce que les gens qui travaillent et les gens qui continuent de travailler. One love.
Yes, I got it. Yes, I. Big up there. Labor Labor K continue to have there as we move into 27 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on this evening there as we continue in the island to deal with the issue of this missing child, because you see, this to me is the primary and most important thing there. But it seems like as if in the last couple of days there, what has become the priority of the opposition is to be focused on this guy who, basically, as described, was a lunatic. He's been called many names, even by his own family and so forth. And it seems like he has become the one they are fighting for. I just can't understand that. But we're going to talk about that tonight, because no doubt I am amazed by some of the things I'm seeing there. Caller, good evening to you on the local line. Overseas line, are you there?
Yes, Siglan, good night. How are you?
I am all right, Tim. I'm a good man, my dear, and you?
Me, I vex. I kind of a pissed off, man. I'm very much angry.
Tell me why.
No, I don't hear nonsense now. We just can't feel hungry liars they have in Dominica there. What? No, they're watching Imo News. Imo News again, thank you. Me myself seen some hungry liars, and they have never prepared for what they have outside there. With the big girl, with that, the kidnapper relatives and them, man, that just pissed me off, Simeon. That just pissed me off. Because, I mean, come on, where are your sympathy for the victim? All of a sudden, they're taking this guy and I want to make a hero of this guy. What is wrong? And that is the same one I was saying, she called police, they should tell police they should shoot him in the leg. What you have, behind the police for? Eh? All of us, and that's what us people need to behave themselves, man. And Linton is a wicked man. Linton taking that to push his political mileage. Linton, stop preying on innocent children to push political agenda. This is not right, man, and to me.
I know, I understand.
I
No.
you're talking. I remember what he was he was on the top and from that. That I don't have anything. He have children.
I'm not sure if you have children. I can answer that.
14 days now they can't find a little girl, 12-year-old girl. God knows where she be. It's only God that can tell you where she be. Okay? God knows if she eat, if she don't eat, how she is. God knows, it's only God that can tell you. For you all out here that's looking after a dead man, studying a dead man, and it's he that is. But they would have gone to say, Simeon, I can't hold my tongue.
I know.
Because I don't like nonsense. Especially when children are involved. And then the relative of the guy should know better. Stop making Hillary Clinton and them use them to make their political mileage. And even though you all use blue people. There is a little girl life out there. Now is that time for to come up with all nonsense. I want to blame police. Eh? You know your son was a damn criminal all the time along. So hey, is that somebody that said the police? Don't blame police. Don't blame the police. Only somebody was saying on the radio or they was calling the police all the time to come out. And begging the police don't come. I hear some people call the radio and say it. Now he dashed him in his leg. And is that the police fault? He look for his death. You should, as a pair brother, you want to come and make politics now come in and talk. You should be ashamed of yourself, lady. Shame of yourself. Is that you are sending children, parents are sending children to the crime, but when they do their crime, they take what they get. And stop being hypocrites. And come to your concentration to be and mom, the little girl. And helping find that little girl. Think, and put up your thinking cap and where you know he could have taken her. This is a wicked lady who was feeling sorry for the lady, no, I'm not feeling sorry for the lady, you know, after today. Simeon, I go in.
I think, yes, my dear. I feel your emotion, and I listened to that that interview there with Tierney Beans, and they're going to talk a little bit about it tonight there. Call, good evening to you on the local line.
Good evening, Simeon.
Good evening, sir. I'm good, thank you, man.
Let me tell you, Simeon, man, every time you see, you have to listen to some wicked people, including them lawyers and them pastors. Wicked all the time. He talking about why he didn't go and get murder to go and negotiate. The guy, the same pastor could not pick up on his own and take the murder and go and see him in the bush and go and negotiate too. Huh? Beansing, man, come on, man. Dominic cannot behaving. Some of them behaving too foolish and wicked, man. I just feeling hurt to see after all the days. Shoot him in his leg. Do this. Police don't do this. Police don't do that. Today something happened. And every time I have to warn people. All you already saying, but tomorrow let something happen and all you'll hear some of them wicked people. Wicked people. One thing I know, Dominic is a blessed place, and no matter what it takes, the policemen and them, it has some traitors on board. We need to shake up them horns, take the traitors out, because if they have just too much wickedness, because after all what all go through, man, come on, man. Something happened, we don't know yet. We don't know exactly how it happened, and all what people saying about all humanity is hurting. Because I tell you straight, no matter what it takes, when something happens, the same set run into all you again. Simeon,
yeah, man.
We need to take our Dominic and keep it good. Because I tell you straight, them to want to have Dominic in a kind of chaos, and I tell you straight, not nice, because I tell you straight, it's hurting. And the policemen and them, hearts go out to all you work hard and all the still working hard. And it has some wicked people on the outside there, including some of the wicked opposition people. The people that want to be part of government, want to be ruling the country, and there they talking nonsense. And sometimes I hear some people talking, man. God alone will deal with some of them. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Yes, sir. I can feel your pain, my brother. I can feel your pain there. On the local line there, good evening to you. Local line, good evening.
Good evening, Simi. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good evening, my brother.
Good. Simi, let me ask you a question. Because you read a book about famine, does that make you a farmer?
Not at all.
because you read some books concerning private investigators or policing, does that make you a police?
No, sir.
It surely would make you a nurse, right? Or
No,
doctor.
no, not at all.
There's a level of hypothetical ignorance going on in this country today. And it's sad that today, people who were shouting, let's find this poor child who was forcefully taken against her will from the comfort and security of her home by a wicked, a vicious, pretending to be mentally ill man. I say pretending because a madman, you would not even, I mean, even if they would do certain things, but you would have found them the same night, they would not go into hiding. I tell you that. They would not go into hiding. All right? Come into the people's home, asking for food, then asking for cutlass, then asking for the child. Now I'm saying what I have heard based on the reports from the mother.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
From the mother. I'm not going based on what the propaganda operatives, because there are two kinds of stories. And the main story is what those on the propaganda machine is not listening to. They ignore. You understand?
Yes.
To know something, see me, to know me, you have to be around me. To be able to give precise and concise evidence of a matter, it would mean that you would have been there.
Right.
You would have been there that night. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So based on the report that we have before us, the credible report was what was given previously as to what transpired. And I can even go with Earl Bruno, who later on came and said when he came and he met the man in the condition that he met the man. I can go with that. I may not buy much of what he said prior to that, but what he saw that night, I can go with that.
Yes.
Because we had someone who were attacked, someone who was bleeding, and someone who was missing. I can go with that. The world out there is laughing at us. Do you know why? Especially people who are cops themselves, who are now copying in to our conversations via email, even Dominican News Online, because the world heard what transpired. And there are police who are behind that now, listening and making statements with regards to, you all don't understand how the police system works. As a matter of fact, the police system is such that the police represents the law. And anytime you draw any weapon against the law, you are down, brother. Let us imagine, I don't want to stay too long because other people have...
Go right ahead. You're on
other
point.
people have their comments. Let us imagine, Simi, it was the other way around, that some other persons beside the police, let's look at maybe Kenny G or Feather, and some other teams with him, had been the man there that day confronting this guy here, what do you think they would have done?
Boy.
How would they have handled that situation, brother? This guy, based on my analysis from his mom, hearing from his dad, hearing from other people down on the ground that bears, brother, I calculated that this individual could not be counteracted by any normal civilian. You would have to injure this guy to get him. I don't know how the police aimed. I don't know. To be honest with you, to be frank with you, my hope was that if being attacked and he sought to run away, that the police at least would have shot him to incapacitate him, to hold him, because we need that child. Because that is the only and the prime witness as to who would have told us or could tell us where the child is. You understand? So I'm just saying, based on my analysis, Simeon,
Yes.
you and I would have had to place ourselves at great risk to confront this individual that particular day that he was found.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You would have had to put that man down. Simeon, I don't listen to people who speak rubbish. Because what I'm listening to are people who sit on the stands at the stadium looking at cricket and telling Chris Gayle, you stupid boy, you don't know how to hit a four, but they've never batted in their lives. They've never played cricket and football in their lives, but they criticize the Dominica team of going down to St. Lucia. I don't listen to people who spectate. I listen to professionals. And it's sad, brother. And I'm going to tell you something. I can understand the emotions are running wild in this country, and I can understand the waves of emotions. But we must control our emotions, because it appears, brother, that the victim right now, the way that the United Workers' Party and their leaders and their supporters and even other people supporting the government today, the way they are making it seem, brother, I'm saying it,
Yes.
is as if this little girl was the one who took this gentleman and led him to his demise. Oh boy.
Yes.
I'm going to put it that way as I end.
Yes.
What it is right now, the definitions of this matter is such that the victim has become the criminal. The victim has become the criminal. And the victim I mean by this is that little girl who was dragged out of her house, having witnessed a brutal attack, brother. Traumatized, dragged into the bushes in the dead of night against her own will and wish. She is now calculated as that criminal, and the criminal is calculated as the victim. Brother,
Yes.
God be with Dominica. God be with this country, my brother. I'm saying this because Dominicans don't know what they want. They don't even know what they are about. And you see, when things happen, again, it goes back to them. When you wish bad for your neighbor, when it happens to your neighbor, don't come and cry waily, waily, because you cried it on your country. Every day of all your life, for 22 years, all you crying death on Dominica, all you bringing doom on Dominica, all you crying, all you praying along with pastors, with all you praying for gloom, violence, destruction on this country. And then all you out there trying to paint a picture that is the Prime Minister and the government causing all this and judgment on Dominica. We are the ones judging this country. We are the ones judging this country. We are the one that has the country where it is today. And it's only going to get worse if we continue that way before it gets any better. And maybe it will never get better. Have a good night, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your contribution here. Of course, I feel what you are saying. I've been following it. I have a similar, understanding of what you are saying. I mean, no doubt. Let's just keep the call going there. Got a few things to say about that, but let's just keep the calls going. Let me hear from the listeners. On the office line, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Simeon Albert, the great man himself. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I'm good, thanks. God bless.
Yeah, that's the man, sir. Mr. Simeon, I'm in Connecticut, man, in diaspora, a lot of rain. And I hate when people just talk such rubbish about the government, our government, and talk such rubbish about the police. The police did a great job, and we are the best police in the world. Because all these police in America don't kill people in America. Look, 3 days ago, a man killed his wife, a police officer. She's a police officer, a man killed his wife. And we in Dominica, I know they're the other side, I'm not calling the other side station, talking such rubbish. Mr. Blackmore is a great man. The PM is a great man. Mr. Street is a great man. So when you're talking, I heard Blue this morning, Blue from Papa State, Luvinia Edwards, talking such rubbish. Where is Blue to talk rubbish about my government? Mr. Simeon, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, sir.
Mr. Simeon, I'm very hungry. Right now I'm driving there. I came from Stafford, Connecticut. I'm with one of my friends. When I have Blue talking such rubbish, man, and it has killed me. Who's Blue? Luvinia Edwards. She's been American in my mother's house. Go and shoplift. I want man came out and talking about my government. Blue, we are the best prime minister in the world and the best police force. I will continue defending Mr. Blackmore and Mr. Austria and the PM. Simeon,
Yes.
you're a great man. You're a wonderful man. You're a baby me. I'm talking about my country live radio. Do not baby me. Let me talk to Mr. Simeon Albert. Talking about baby me. When I'm talking to about on the radio, do baby me. Hear me? Because I defend my country, you know. You hear me? Only one American. I'm a Dominican. Forget about America. All these Americans, you know. I defend my country. Mr. Simeon Albert, someone find you with this. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm there, my brother. I'm there.
Yeah, I am with my American. Take a time let me talk to my country, my countryman, a great man. When people talking about my country, it does hurt me. Shut up.
Yeah, you seem to have somebody keeping you busy there now. So
I love my country.
Yeah, man, take care. Take care, buddy.
Simeon, good job, and blow on them.
Thank you, my brother. Take care there, my brother. Take care. There's somebody in the background there keeping you busy there. On the local line there, good evening to you.
Good night, Simeon, and how are you?
I am there holding on. I'm there holding on.
The caller before that said it. He couldn't say it better. Simeon, when we went looking for the child, a lady in Bell said to us, the man threatened her, told her that he would burn her down with her children in the house. And they're not talking about that. You understand?
Yeah.
They're only talking about the shooting, but they're not talking about the chaos the people and them had in Bell. We too one-sided. We were too one-sided.
Yes.
It's time for them to stop their nonsense. And it wouldn't get them nowhere. It's that they go cemetery and do. Look at beating them back. That is what they went cemetery and do. Have a good night.
My dear, thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening to yourself. They're on the overseas line. They call. Good evening to you.
Simeon,
Hi.
it's time for the children of Dominica to take the street. Because it seems like UWP is the main aviole in Dominica. They are the one avioling all the damn children and they think it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's time for Dominica children to take the street, full of the street, all the street. Take the street. Stop the children abuse. Because I cannot understand how Linton and UWP Q95 could be saying those kind of things. Right now they have lawyers. Simeon, I tell all you, these people should be locked up. The mother should be locked up. The pastor should be locked up. The so-called parents should be locked up. First of all, the pastor should be locked up. It looked like the pastor was looking to abuse the child. It looked like all of them was abused and they have it as a secret. All of them need to be locked up. And I said that with nothing in my mouth. They all need to be in jail, period. And the children of Dominica need to take the streets. Stop child abuse, period.
Yes, I. Wow. Feel you all are very emotional tonight, and I feel you all. On the local line there, good evening.
Good night, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
I consider Mr. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit as the Prime Minister of, sorry. I consider Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit as the mother of all prime ministers. And I describe the opposition leader, Hillary Clinton, as the mother of all jealousy-speaking opposition leader. These guys are very, very, very worried. The opposition leader is not feeling good. He's very uneasy because to me he realized that he should have been Dominica's prime minister, and he's getting angry, he's getting stressed out, and he wants to put blame on the prime minister. I'm very much concerned, I'm very much worried as a father, and probably even though I was not a father, I'm very much concerned about this little girl. Because I know this child personally, as I've said before. I know her personally. I knew her since probably she was at the age of 6. And you can imagine, when a girl, 12 years old, she's not yet 13, not yet 18, being taken around 11:20 p.m. in the night, forcefully, by an evil man I described. A man that should have been described as a madman, taken from her bed. You can imagine how terrible it was. The child must have been screaming. Then, let me give you a little story. It was given to me by a man from the village of St. Joseph I know as a Seventh Adventist. He told me yesterday, because when I hear that, I've been crying all the time. He said, around midnight, I don't know if you're aware or whether you heard that story, that a Haitian security guy in the vicinity of Jalakan saw this monster walking with this little girl in the midnight area. He must have, after being capturing this little girl, he must have taken this child within an hour and saw that child in that live area walking middle of her. Where is the child? You have to imagine, when Mr. told me a story, I shed tears because around middle of the night, a 12-year-old child you have walking.
Who tell you that? Who told that to you?
A guy I know from St. George. He's a Seventh Adventist. He know.
Did he report that to the police?
No. Well, he was talking to me yesterday.
Yeah, but if he saw something like that, bro, you see, people say all kind of things, but people say all kind of things nowadays. But if he had seen something like that, you know, the whole country was looking for the child.
When he said that, he said he's sure of that story, but even in case that happened, but he said the Haitian was not aware what happened already. But anyhow, I mean, I cannot understand up till now with the whereabouts of the child, and certainly telling Mr. Simeon. If that mother of that monster who is dead now was in those hardline countries like Iran and North Korea, they would have put the mother into hiding and would have never ever seen her again, you know. Never ever. Because I mean I cannot believe that such a thing, a madman, monster like this taking a child. What he want to do with the child? What really happened? I would be very hopeful if the child arrives, but probably by now I'm losing hope, you know.
Yeah.
Because the possibility of finding this child is getting thinner and thinner every day and night. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, you're right. That's what happens when as the days are gone by, you know, as the days are going by. It's 14 days now, and you can imagine what it's like. I mean, we heard from people who, I heard on last week, Saturday's program gone by, there was a family who called and spoke about her granddaughter and spoke about the fact that her son came in contact with this guy in the area, and you know, where he was seen, and there was no sight of the child, but obviously everybody was fearful of this fella. I mean, you know, you could just imagine had a civilian come in contact with him, what would have happened. Obviously, it would not have been easy. And but let's just take this call on local line there before I just get into the chat there. Caller, good evening to you on the local line. Good evening, caller.
Hi, Simeon, good evening.
Good evening.
They need to put that lawyer in jail.
That's all you want to say?
The lawyer, they need to put Matt, they need to put Linton, they need to put all of them in jail. Even mother, the Baba Blah mother, they need to put her in jail. Father that say, don't kill him, break his foot, need to go in jail. The mother did say in the moon coming down, they would catch him, and they really catch him for two. Just a pity they don't get the child.
Yes,
right? Sir. So, Simeon, good night and good program. Let's just stay positive. But we really need to put that lawyer there in jail.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. See, there's plenty of people who are to put in jail there. Let's go to the local line there. On the local line there, good evening.
Yeah, my partner, Simeon.
Yes, sir.
Simeon, if it was the other way around now, what would happen? If the guy would kill one of them officers now, what would happen? What people say?
They would say you should have shot him.
Thank you. Boy, them officers do what they have to do to defend themselves and to get that little girl. But it does happen, things go wrong one way. So what the hell happening to the rest of the people in them? All the time people making way on the bush, looking for this, looking for that. No, it end, but we have to see if we get the girl. But the thing is now, the people that want to go court, me myself, if that ever go through, that court thing ever go through, and nothing will go into that, I would have deal all of them. Trust me, I would have deal all of them. Lawyer, everybody, everybody, because that is just nonsense. That had the country on a hold back way. That had the whole place a hold back. I telling you, Dread, no, the man do what they have to do is a problem. If right now the police and do respond to no other call now, what going to happen?
Yeah.
Embarrassment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody call them police on a call out now, and then police say, you know something? Before we have to do something and we have to get it back, we're not going. What they gonna say? What they gonna say? Boy, my partner, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, so Ellen of them first. Fuck them first. Good night.
All right, my brother. Yes, I. But, I mean, it is just something else, this whole thing there. So, I mean, I got to give my piece on that. It's just something else. I mean, I listen to all, but, all the telephones are going. So, let me get this caller there a chance before I get to this discussion. Hi there, caller. Good evening.
Good night, Simeon. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Good evening, my dear.
Okay, how was your Father's Day?
The Father's Day was all right, quiet and peaceful, yes.
Okay, I would like to say good night to Zetma. Well, Simeon, all the time before they catch the man, those police was in the bush. They used to say so many things. Oh, those police is a waste of time. Those police wasting their time. They haven't got stamina. The police, this police, that now something happened, they bathing on the policemen. Like as though they're well glad the man died, but like it's not so. And he shoot the man and look so, look so. Right? All you know, the child not died, they know where if all you know where the child be. Come out and tell the policeman we're looking in that house that the child be. But they bathing on those policemen, lawyer talking, and they just have those police up. All the time those police useless. They have no sense. What they doing there? Give them a chance in the bush. Now something happened. The police scare it. The police scare it. The police, they what and what they will not do. The family self and the man died too. All of them because they were scared. The people scared. They are afraid to go in their garden. Now they said, when they shoot the man in the bush, from the bush to Linus, they didn't pass to the hospital. When they reach up there, the nurses didn't take care of the man and they go straight to Linus. All kind of thing you hear in no, because the man died. Right? No, the man working all kind of thing. The man probably killed the child long time. Nobody knows. That man was told the man was all in green. Himself was in green. The man could be in the bush and they were even seeing the man. They passing the man straight because the man know the bush more than them. What the Prime Minister have to do with that? The Prime Minister don't have nothing to do with that. The police are doing their work. They do their duty. They do what they have to do. All you afraid to go to the garden. All you afraid to go to school. All you afraid to go to the river. All you afraid to go all about. No. That happened. All you blaming police. Right? Blame all yourself. And if you those police, that is one thing I will always be for them is for no. Because they do what they have to. This is not that. And that man was in the bush with him marching. Who next? He would come behind. You don't know. Right? He could go behind his own mother, his sister, his assistant. Anybody couldn't pass on this. He just go with them. And his blood, he would just go for blood. And they only want police to go. I mean, the police, they're doing their work. Sometimes I give them their blows too. But no, my God, so what? They are human beings too. They are family too. Who that wasn't there, there are so many things to say about them. They was not there, They was not there at all. But now, they have a whole history about what had happened. They were who that was not there. They know everything. They are scared to go in the bush, but no, they know everything. Right? Anyway, Simeon, good night.
Yes, my dear. Yes, indeed, dear. And of course, I can feel what you, the callers, feel. But, as I listened earlier on today and for the last couple of days since this announcement of the police having apprehended and shot this guy, basically, who is now deceased, a lot have unfolded, a lot have been said. But today, I heard Tiani Bianzin today conducting an interview with the mother and father. Well, the mother and father was present while obviously it seems like they have gotten an attorney to represent them. And so Tiani Bianzin is now making a case on behalf of the family. And, this thing, Jesus Christ. I also heard Matt Peltier yesterday play I don't know if it's some computer voice or who is that kind of person they get to read that story that they had on Q95. I mean, I've never, I would not even play something like that for anybody to hear on any radio program. If somebody were to send something designing the format in which Matt Peltier played that, involving the Prime Minister, blaming the Prime Minister, blaming the Minister for National Security, using indecent language to refer to the police deputy commissioner on live on radio, calling the guys like Kenny G and all of those guys who came out from the get-go when that child went missing, sung the call to get the public to be involved, to see how they could bring this child back home immediately after the child went missing, referring to them as thugs, who went. And, really, and this is the kind of things that UWP and Q95 sought to promote out there, have people in a frenzy. All of a sudden, is the police that wrong? But you know what's strange? That the day that the news came out that this guy was seen, and after how many days of searching for him, suddenly they saw him. And it was amazing what people were saying. Oh, the police hopeless, man. The police hopeless. How the police could make Mr. escape. Why? No, the police should have. Really, the police should have shot him. All kind of things they had to say. Now you hear the news that the police has apprehended him. But he was shot. He died, unfortunately, because of, the situation at hand. So now the police is wrong. And that's what the opposition is trying to say. That they want to say the police. Now listen to what Tiani Bianzin said earlier on today. I'll play a little bit, just a little bit of what he said for you to hear. Because he said something about extrajudicial killing. I had to go and research that because I ain't no attorney at law, so senior counsel know that better than me. Let me say good evening to him. But listen to Tiani Bianzin for a little moment there.
Me, that this may be an example of an extrajudicial killing. And we are saying and we're asking the public to please be mindful, be cognizant of what is going on here.
Yes, so Tiani Bianzin, in an interview with the family now, standing next to him, is making this thing appear now like this guy who was a criminal. He was a criminal, no doubt. What he did to his uncle was a criminal act. I haven't got the voice clip of the uncle's wife, but she was on the same Q95 talking about how Tibaila hache. You know what is hache, monsieur? Coupe, cut, take it how you want, chop up her husband. Several times in his head, several times to the body. She was in tears speaking about what happened to her husband, who she claimed went home with the child. Child was hungry, so she was in the church while he took the child home, being attacked by this guy who took this 12-year-old away. The same night, on a condition, God knows what he may have done. Nobody knows. The mother came and said that she know the child is safe and she know Kian will not do nothing to the child and stuff like that, and he's feeding the child. Really? How you know all that? Well, did the mother know all that? She just tell us where you would have brought the child or where the child is, or she know where the child is. But lo and behold, I listened to this interview this afternoon with great interest. And not a sing for 12 minutes and 37 seconds of a discussion, not a single mention of the missing child, who is the victim. Instead, what Bianzin and the UWP is now out there trying to do is to say that it was some extra judicial killing that took place. Now, I had to research that. And for those of you that hear that kind of term there, you might not understand that because that is big word. Myself not used to that kind of thing. There ain't no lawyer. But I Google it. So it says there, extrajudicial killing is where when someone in an official position deliberately kills a person without any legal process. That's what it is. So when they kill someone. So they're claiming that that is what it is. So I guess Tiani Bianzin now maybe want to prepare a case now to go and sue the state because they killed the guy. The guy was killed deliberately. Really? A man who is on the run for over 10 days, 11 days at the time, have a child, 12-year-old he kidnapped, chop up his uncle, as far as, and then now, the entire country is in search for him. You know, this lady called the program, she said her son met him, he had a cutlass, and, you know, the man was dangerous. You had the mother and the father on Q95 for almost 2 hours. The father saying that, you know, the police should shoot him in. I ain't going on no radio and television and tell no police to shoot my child. I won't do that. If you love your child and you care, you won't do that. But he did that. He said that because he understood how dangerous the son he brought on this earth was. She too, as a mother, understood how dangerous this boy was. That he would go totally out of control. I don't know whether he was being controlled by the moon, as they said, though she was saying, well, when the moon get down, he'll... Really? So one have to wonder what he did to that child. Is this child still alive? On the night that he brutally chopped down his uncle, what did he do on that night when he grabbed that child under the evil spirit that was within him? What else did he do to that child? This search has been going on for 14 days now. All of the bushes, there are those who are saying that this child is not in the bush. No sight of the child at all. Is this child alive now? The big question mark we have to ask. How is the police at fault when the police have been in the bush searching? Some of the officers, I listened to one of the officers telling me about the kind of hills and valleys and precipice. And how Dominica so huge because of the length and breadth they had to walk to try to see if they can bring this child home. They finally put sight on this dangerous man, who obviously, if he had gotten the first chance on the police, would have chopped the police. The same way he had the guts to chop his uncle, he would have chopped the police. The same people who was blaming the police for not having taken action or getting him or doing something. The police never wanted to shoot this man. They called the police to come after him on some occasion. The police didn't shoot him. He escaped. The police allowed him to run. He had not kidnapped anybody. Now people saying, oh, the police should do this. The police can't just go around and arrest people because they have a condition without committing any offense. The police can't just go and arrest people. Then the same people will come and talk about, where is their human rights? Where is their human rights? They have their right. Yes. So now you have a situation at hand where he is now dead. And that's what happens, obviously, because he was living dangerously. So the police did what the police had to do. And you have behind him now who forgets that there is a missing child who was kidnapped. There is an uncle who is now recovering from serious injuries effected on him by this guy. The very mother who is sitting with him there talking about extrajudicial killing almost lost her brother to her own son. And you blame the authority for really, doing their job. The police was doing their job. It's unfortunate. Nobody wanted to have this guy dead. Everyone would have preferred that he was alive to tell us if he killed the girl, where he buried her, or if she's alive, where he's keeping her. Everybody wanted that, including the police. We heard the police on several times saying that's how they would prefer this thing come to an end. But it is unfortunate that these things happen the way. So the opposition now, and Matt Peltier, man, come on, Matt, man. I was so disappointed when I heard Matt Peltier playing this audio, which I refuse to play on this program because of the content of the audio. Blaming the national minister, blaming the prime minister, blaming the police commissioner, and all. You're not blaming the man that dead there that kidnapped the child. Bunch of wicked people in that UWP. They hear some gunshots on the bayfront with some whatever event that was going on there on Friday, some guy on some motorbike burst a bullet. Oh, where is the police? Where is the police? Why isn't the police down there? Why haven't the police arrested nobody yet? Why haven't the police made a statement? Why haven't the police do this? And when the police take action now, the same people now criticizing the police. Just like when UWP go in Roseau and try to make confusion and develop confrontation in the police. Like Sticky Finger go and lie down in the road and the police approach him. Ask him to, no, he wouldn't obey the law. He will disrespect the police. And when the police take action now, all you criticizing the police. The police is there to uphold the law, to protect the citizens from dangerous people like who this guy was. Now we have a missing child. All of the focus have been by the opposition is to try to see if they can condemn the police, if they can condemn, the state and forget about the little girl that is missing. And Jam come and put out some kind of foolishness. I read some kind of thing about Njam now. Njam is shocked at the police shooting death of Kiana Alexander. And all of a sudden, as far as Njam is confirmed, they are in total disbelief of the death of this man and blah, 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 blah. Really? All you didn't know he was a dangerous fella? All you didn't know that? Why didn't Njam and all you go and confront him to see if he wouldn't hash all you? Sometimes we have to be real. This is a serious and a dangerous person we were dealing with. It wasn't a man who came home and took a child and he kidnapped her. He was not dangerous and you were looking for him, or he was a decent guy, or he was approachable. I spoke with a lady from who has a property in Bells. She told me the guy was sleeping on a veranda. She was fearful of the guy. Imagine that. Kill some little puppies, chop up their neck, drink up the blood. What kind of person do things like that? Then you look at photographs of the home that this boy was living in. Everything is demonic. So he had a serious condition and a dangerous one for the society that we're living in. And people say, oh, the police should have arrested him long time. They should have locked him up. Well, the police should go around Roseau tomorrow and lock up all who that appearing to be mad, all who that appearing to have a condition. And then the same set of UWP people will go on the radio, just like how Linton on the radio and all them on the radio talking about police victimization, police this, police that. When they break the law and the police arrest them, there are all kind of things to say about the same police. Boy, I tell you, boy, we live in a country where God only knows. But it is a situation where this child is out there. The child still continues to be missing. Nobody knows. The fate of this child now is, every day that we live, people are wondering whether we'll ever find this child, whether the child could survive that long. Nobody is there to, could he have killed the child the same night that he took the child? It's a question that people are asking. But there is no information to determine what has actually happened. Because he knew what he did, and he did it under a condition when he was violent. So for me personally, I feared for that child's life the very night when this man caught up his uncle and left with the child. I heard from another mother in Bells who said that she was scared for her daughter. She was scared for a child because he was threatening to kidnap the child. And so she was even afraid. People were even afraid in the area, send their children to school because of this man was scaring people. So he was dangerous. You can't blame the police for protecting themselves or taking whatever course of action to ensure that they stop this man. And then he would go on to kidnap another child, and what else all he would say? Oh, the police should have shot him. Had he stayed out there loose in the bush, he know his whereabouts. According to his mother, he spent 6 months in the jungle. And then we would have heard news of another child missing again in the Bells area. Or in the Layo area or wherever, because he feel now he's on a roll now. What would you all have said? Another child gone missing. What would you all have said? Oh, the police had a sight of him. Why did they let him escape? Like they said the day before he was shot. They should have shot him. His parents said it. Now all you come there and pretend like he was such an innocent little fella. He was such a good child, you know. He didn't kidnap nobody. He didn't do nothing wrong. And the police just take on their own, according to Bienzin. You know what I mean? Sometimes we have to be real. We have to deal with things in the real way. We have to deal with things in the real way in the country. And let me take this call. Because the telephones are going there. If people want to talk, let me hear from you. Caller, good evening. Caller, are you there? Good evening. All right. You're not there with me, so feel free to ring back again when you want to say something. But, I mean, we are here, people. It is the 21st day of the month. The search continue. Big up to Kenny G and all the guys. I find it was out of place for Matt Pelcher and UWP to call these young men from Roseau Central and who came from all over to help, to refer to them as thugs. I mean, come on, man. You know, the Israelis spent 3 days, 4 days searching until the police felt, it was becoming too dangerous to have civilians in the bush to come in contact with this guy. So the police themselves decided that they wanted to handle the matter. And one can well understand. Good evening on the local line. Caller, you're there. Good evening. Yes.
I realized the system that he was going in the bush and he was insane. He come to it 10:30. And all of them, all the UW people keep on coming because they have free food. And I realize these people are dangerous. They are dangerous to the country. So what I want you all to do is just stay focused. Because these people, as you see, they're hungry. They are hungry people. And we have to just stay focused to get this young child. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And this lawyer, mother, Bozo, Matt, all of them need to go to jail. And I will say it again. We have to just stay focused on what's going on. They think they're trying to destroy the PM, but they're destroying themselves. They are destroying themselves. Now keep on praying for our country and praying and believing God that they will get this little child. May God bless Dominica and bless our PM.
Yes, my dear. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Let me see if I can bring my colleague there, Senior Counsel Anthony Astafan, on the line with me there to weigh in into some of what we heard from Tiani Bienzin. They're certainly coming in defense of the family, today, and obviously wanting to see how the guy was shot or what was done to him, and, calling it extrajudicial killing, and now trying to make a case that, like, this guy is the victim, forgetting that there is a 12-year-old still missing. The mother said she know the guy would take care of him, that he has been fed. Well, mother, lead us to where he was. And why wasn't the mother and the father and all of the family and all of them that in the church there with them? Why wasn't all of them there out there searching hard to help, that if they came in contact with the guy, that they would be able to slow him down? They wasn't searching for him. They wasn't even trying to help to go out there in the bush and things like that in the parley. I bring Senior Counsel on the line there. We'll continue. I'll come right back.
Uh-huh. Everybody! Jalan, USP, Jalan, USP, Jalan, USP, Jalan, USP, Jalan, USP, Jalan. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, never party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, never party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda. All their lies and all their slander, try to mislead the people with their hate and all their evil. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The best thing that happened to this country is Garrett and the Labour Party. We wanna bring to bankrupt.
Yes, my people, welcome back. On the line with me, there is Senior Counsel Anthony Astephen. Good evening to you, my brother. Good evening.
Good evening, comrade. Good evening to your to you and your listeners.
Yeah.
And to the callers so far, in particular the gentleman who called earlier on in the night. I thought he was extremely good.
No.
And of course, I love the passion of the women when they call. The Dominica women stronger. Don't joke with them.
I tell you, SC. But Senior Counsel, I mean, I heard today, you know, listening to Tiani Bianzin this afternoon, most shockingly with the mother and father of the deceased, and no mention of the missing child. There was absolutely no mention. Just the full focus was on the deceased, and now speaking about what we see may have been some extrajudicial killing, creating another scenario there, Senior Counsel.
Yeah, well, you know, when this situation started, I was wondering whether the legal profession in the States or England have a thing called the how do you call it, the ambulance chasers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had in my mind about 5 to 8 lawyers that I figured were going to volunteer. I try to create a name or do something. And when I heard the extrajudicial killing thing, I said, you know, the layman who's calling a show and making misstatements of fact and law is one thing. Politicians on the opposition side that are deliberately lying is another. But a lawyer has to be extremely careful what he says. That's why in all of the years I've been representing prime ministers and governments throughout the OECS, nobody has accused me of any misconduct. You know what an extrajudicial killing is?
Explain that for the listeners, Senior Counsel.
When there's no legal basis for the killing. It is an established, first of all, the police regulations or code of conduct requires the use of firearms in the exceptional circumstances of if an officer is threatened or perhaps some other person's life is being threatened. That's one. A self-defense is a defense at common law, maybe even statute that says that if you fear for your life and you're attacked by somebody with a weapon,
mm-hmm.
somebody who you know has used the weapon within the last couple of days, for want of a better word, approaches you, charges you, threatens you with a cutlass, you don't have to try to shoot him in his legs. You don't have to retreat. You don't have to try to wrestle him on the ground. You have to try to protect yourself. And at that spur of the moment when you pull the trigger, the operative factor in your mind has to be to protect your life from bodily injury or death and that of one of the other officers who may have been part of the group that apprehended him.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what the Deputy Commissioner has said, which I accept fully, there was full justification in firing at him. He's died, so be it, because that would have been an action in accordance with the law. Now, the Constitution says, Section 2:1, a person shall not be deprived of his life intentionally, save in the execution of the sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense under the law of Dominica of which he has been convicted, meaning the death sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Subsection 2, a person shall not be regarded as having been deprived of his life in consequence of this section if he dies as a result of the use to such extent and in such circumstances as are permitted by law, like self-defense, of such force as is reasonably justifiable. A, for the defense of any person from violence, I can pause there, in order to effect a lawful arrest or to prevent the escape of a person lawfully detained, etc., etc., etc. So the Constitution accepts that a police officer could, in defense of himself or any other citizen or any other police officer or citizen, use such violence, use such force, including gunfire, in order to protect or to preserve or in defense of any person's life or bodily harm. So I don't know why they keep saying that, because we have a history where many of us, including you, have been impatient with the police because we have seen open acts of violence directed at them, and they have always responded in a defensive or reasonable and proportionate way without taking anybody's life. We've had the riots at Salisbury, the 2 or 3 of them. We've had the riots in Roseau. We've had the riots in Marigot, and other situations that I can't really recall right now. And we have had police that have been investigating crimes and arrested persons without shooting them. I mean, how often have you heard about our police officers being in a gunfight?
No, I mean, that's not something that you hear. I mean, the police have been provoked on so many occasions. I mean, God,
and they've taken it with professional pride. They've only done what they thought was necessary in the circumstances. Antigua has had shootout. St. Lucia had one. St. Lucia had an actual gunfight in the city of Vieux Fort. Your wife or your girlfriend would have told you that yesterday.
Apparently, I saw the video of the shots being fired. Yes.
In Jamaica, they locked down towns and villages and countryside areas and sending the defense force and the army to remove and to, I want to use the word remove rather than liquidate or eradicate. Known gunmen and criminals who are in the villages. You've never seen that here.
No.
You've never seen that in our country. So I find it disgraceful that these parasites, these political, very dishonest politicians and few, are trying to put the police officers who, unlike them, have been in the bush 24/7 for the last 12, 13 days. All right? I don't think that anybody from the United Workers' Party leadership has gone in the bush. All right? The officers have been looking for a man who captured by force, armed with a cutlass, with an unstable demeanor and head, a 11-year-old innocent, beautiful child. They were not looking for drug dealers. They were looking to save that child's life. And rather than giving the police the maximum respect for leaving their homes and having to spend all of these hours in the bush, looking for somebody's innocent child who could have been theirs. And they have been hell-bent on portraying this man, who is now deceased, as a hero and as a victim. Some of these lunatic fringe supporters of the United Workers' Party have even asked the question on Facebook, I think it was, about a state funeral. I mean, the indignance of that disrespect is beyond the pale. The girl has still yet not been found. The fellow got killed on the 11th day. Why did he not bring the child back on the 1st, 2nd, and I'm going to take my time and count every day, the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, or the 10th day? And where was she when the police spotted him the first time and he jumped in the ravine? Where was she? Where was this little girl? Mattis Bat doesn't give a damn where she is. Lennox couldn't care less. Ben Hansen looking for a place in the sun. And these people are scavenging the most filthy barrel of garbage in order to try to score political points. And I asked the question on the last couple times I spoke. What if it was your child? What if it was your granddaughter or grandson? What would you be saying? We've had examples of the UWP denigrating the Red Clinic, and then they would call the Prime Minister for help for Sam Christian and get it. So once it suits them, once it's for them, it's good. I want to ask Lennox and Matt and all of them on Q95 that have been destroying fabric of the parts of our society with their evil, poison, garbage. What if it was your son or daughter? What if on the 12th day, the police officers and the civilians, including my friend who just retired from the American Army, was in the bush all day? What if they can't find her? What if it was your daughter out there for 12 bloody days, going on to the 13th goddamn day? What would you be saying? And they want to demonize. What's his name again? You mentioned his name there.
You're talking about the... Sorry?
The guy...
Oh, Kenny G. Yeah, Kenny G and others who they refer to as Fox, yes.
They want to denigrate Kenny G and these fellas who went into the bush.
Yes.
These guys went to look for an innocent Dominican child. They did what good public-spirited people do. They didn't go on the radio and talk crap about the man and ignore the girl. They went looking for her. They put their life on hold to go in the bush with all the discomfort that it brings. To look for a child, an innocent child. And these fellas sit down in Q95, air conditioned, KFC, food, water, coffee, toilet, sink, and go home to their homes, sit down there with their children, with their grandchildren, brush their teeth, go on bed, sleep on the bed, when that child is out there. And all they're interested in is glorifying the man who took her in the bush with a cutlass. When I tell you I have lost all and every single grain of respect I had for these fellas. I call them corrupt, I call them liars, but to turn your back on a child who could be yours is an unpardonable sin. Is an unpardonable sin. And you know what's the worst thing for me? And Jam and them bloodsuckers there. All the time we were on the radio for the last 10, 11 days speaking about this issue. Now they want to have a march.
Yes.
When Alfie Matter was going around talking about protecting children from sexual assault, a child was grabbed at the point of a cutlass, and none of them left their goddamn home to go in the bush or on the street to march for her. None of them. None of them. But because Simeon and Daryl and Ronald are putting blows on them with callers like myself and others, Donnie, Lloydie, and all the others that have been calling, doing a fantastic job. Right? That's when it strikes you. And then Njam talks about horrified and shocked at the killing of the man, but praying for the safe return of the girl. You didn't ask for her on the first day, the second day, the third day for him to bring her back?
No, they did not.
No, they did not. They did not. They don't care. As far as they are concerned, that beautiful little innocent child is an expendable piece of political news for them. That's what it is all about. These people are political cannibals. They have glorified the illness of many, and they have celebrated the death of others. So their behavior now is of no surprise to me. No surprise. You sit down in your home, your children are there smiling, daddy, daddy, mommy, mommy. But she can never hear her parents' voice.
No. No.
And her parents cannot hear hers, cannot get her ready to bed, to wake her up with love, get her ready for breakfast, get her ready for school, to go and live a normal life, to grow up to be a teenager, a queen contestant, an athlete, a scholar, a doctor, a lawyer, or a princess. And this woman has had to confront a brutal chapter in her life, and these people are celebrating. These people are animals. Do you know what it's like, Simeon, to have an 11-year-old child or an 8-year-old child or a 15-year-old child, and somebody takes away from you and you don't know where she is?
And this is a nightmare. That's just a nightmare, my brother.
And just with somebody armed with a cutlass who's mentally unbalanced, if not insane. Do you know what these parents are going through? Our family are going through? And these guys cannot spend a minute asking about where she is, if she's alive, if she is alive. No, man, Simeon. Simeon.
Yes.
We judge a civilization on the way we treat our elderly. We judge our civilization on the way we treat and care for our young. When we have those among us prepared to have her as a sacrificial lamb to glorify the man who kidnapped her at the point of a cutlass, and I want to keep saying it, to score political points against the Prime Minister and the government, we have reached the lowest level of scum behavior. These guys must never be allowed to recover from how low they sank, how they turned their back on her, how they glorified somebody who I think may well have killed her.
But I mean, that's the highest possibility right now.
12 days. And if not killed her, caused her death by taking her away from the comfort and safety of her home. But I'm still hoping, I'm still praying and hoping that the police find her and the other civilians find her alive. Our partner Donny Fabian was in the bush today. Lennox was eating what? Burgers, T-bone steak, KNC fried chicken in 295. And what hurts me is that they talk to their children every day. And they don't seem to appreciate that there's some people here that can't talk to their daughter now and may never be able to again. And I will end by the question I keep asking, what if it was your child? What if it was your daughter? What would you do? How would you have communicated with Prime Minister Skerrit? Would you be on the radio criticizing him and the police? No, you would not. They are filthy, dirty hypocrites. Anybody's life is expendable for cheap political gain, my dear brother Simeon. I've known you for 20 plus years, and you know from my voice and what I'm saying that I'm extremely angry, but I'm also disappointed that we have people that will swim in the gutter to score points and turn their back on an innocent child. Simeon.
Yes, brother.
So long we have to give a pledge to the people of this country. So long as we have life, so long as you have life, so long as Daryl and Ronald and all the others, Donnie, Dale, Clarence, Doyle, Ian, Senior Minister, Donnie, I hope I left nobody out. So long as we have life, we owe it to the people of this country to keep talking, never to give up. I know there's some in the Labour Party that thinks we talk too much, that don't fully appreciate what we're doing, but put them on the side. We owe a duty to everybody, not just to some. We owe it to the country never to stop. Because just imagine what would happen if Q95 never heard our voices again. What would happen with the rampage of evil men, fake news, misinformation? Rijok might well be the next Governor General. That's how dishonest and criminal these fellows are. Unless, of course, Gabriel Christian or Irvin Andre fighting for it too, I don't know. But thanks for the time, Simeon.
Thank
Simeon,
you.
never
Yes.
give up. Promise the people of this country that we must never give up.
As long as we have breath, my brother.
So long as we have breath, we must never, ever give up.
Indeed.
And I pray for this child, and I pray for her family, and I hope to God by some miracle he's found alive. You take care.
Yes, Senior Counsel, thank you again. And as you said, by some miracle, because when you go for 14 days, you don't know whether that child ever ate anything. I mean, you were dealing with a lunatic outside there. No one knows. The mother seemed to know. I don't know what the mother know, but the mother needs to tell us something more about what she know. Where he would have kept the child, where he would have taken her, why she was so convinced that the child would have been alive and well and that he would not have hurt her, but he would have hurt her brother instead. She need to maybe tell us a little more. You know, all of a sudden, she gets a lawyer and all of a sudden they want to look like as if they, something like all of a sudden her son is the victim. He's not the victim and she knows that. Like, you know, the husband and everybody else knows that he's not the victim. That's why they were on the radio. That's why they were advising the police to take the course of action of shooting him in the leg. You know, even before he had kidnapped the child, when there was a report made against him, they felt that the police should have shot him in the leg. And I was wondering, but why would you want the police to shoot him in the leg? But that's what they were saying on the radio. Now, I heard Pastor Rodney now. Let me just delete that little section there before I go to your next call. Pastor Rodney contends that the mother of the deceased kidnapper, Kian Alexander, was best suited to get information from him to help find his kidnapped victim, 12-year-old. Yeah, well, she was best suited, Rodney. She was on the radio. I heard her, saying many things. Why didn't he listen to her call? Why didn't she tell the police, she and the husband, let us join all you in the jungle, so in case we meet him, we can talk to him. Why didn't that happen? And then suddenly now, he's dead now, you are there talking. Now listen to a little bit of what he said there. So listen to a little bit of what Rodney said.
Or police, as an organization, seem to be at a place where they have forgotten that their purpose is to protect and serve. Protect and serve. That is the mantra of police forces around the world. Protect and serve. They seem now to be instructed to torment and torture. And because they are instructed to torment and torture, they seem to lack the ability to triage situations and deal with it differently, get the best men to do the best work.
So who, Rodney, boy, let me tell you something here. You see, I tell you to stick to your church and stick to your preaching, and try to save some soul. Listen to something else he said there.
Mother, if you ask me, would be our chief negotiator in that particular instance. I don't think any police would get any information from the young one. I don't believe that they could. For obvious reasons, that communication would break down once it's with the police. There is lots of work to be done in the Commonwealth of Dominica police force. But that work seems to be eluding us, because if the leader of any organization, any church, any nation is unable to bring vision and purpose to that organization, then it's always doomed to fail.
I mean, what did the police do wrong, so wrong, that would warrant, I mean, nobody advised the police to torture nobody. The police doesn't torture people. I mean, where in Dominica can one say that the police does torture people? Senior counsel alluded to or highlighted the many experiences that we have had in Dominica. For example, back in February 17, 2017, with the chaos that was going on in the city of Roseau, with gunshots and fire and stones and all these things that was being thrown after the police. Did the police shoot anybody? Did the police injure anybody, any civilian? The answer is no. Even when the leader of the opposition told the people of the country that they should not respect the police, that the law, that they have more power than the police have, so they could take the law in their hands. Hence the reason why they destroyed the city of Roseau. Right in the city where the police station is, where the police have weapons. Did the police ever put down anybody? No. When Sticky Finger and all of them lie down in the road and they decided they wanted the truck to go in a direction where the police said the truck should not go, did the police rough up anybody? Did the police put a cuff in anybody? Did the police torture anybody? No, the police never did that. Even if they were provoked to the point of doing that, the police never did it. What we know the police did was charge them and put them before the court. That is why Lennox Hinton is before the court today. That is why Sticky Finger was arrested when he came down, because he is before the court for the actions that they did on that day. The police didn't torture them, so there was no torture. When they went to Salisbury, they blocked the road in Salisbury. They tormented people's life. Those civilians in Salisbury, those UWP rights. The Lennox Hinton go around there and tell them they must throw stones behind the police. Cool Wash Bar, we must come down like rain on the police. They stand up on the hill. They show all kind of fire cocktail, all kind of bullseye, all kind of thing behind the police. Did the police shoot anybody? No. Did the police kill anybody? No. The police did what they had to do to maintain the peace and to protect the lives of the citizens of this country. They were provoked sufficiently enough that someone should have been injured, but the police did not do that. You see? And so when these people talking about the police, and as if we must understand that the police is there for when we need the police. So when all you run all above there, all you find some job, all the same police all you running by. Good evening to you on the overseas line. Good evening, caller. Are you there with me, caller? Good evening.
Hello?
You're live. You're live.
Yeah. Referring to the so-called pastor saying that the police is there to protect and serve the people. But what he doesn't realize, the guy terrorized Dominicans for 11 days. Put everybody had scared to go out, to come out from their house, just because of this guy. And then the police, nobody knows what happened. But the police try the best, and they kill him. Now he's talking about nonsense. When this guy terrorized the country for 11 days, and you have a 12-old child. Nobody knows what's happening, and they're not talking about that child. Oh, there is no pastor. No pastor. That was no pastor. His concert should be of the 12-old child by kidnapped killer, and he's talking about somebody who kidnapped a child and the child died. Tell him go and flip. Bye.
Yeah, my boy. Local India caller, good evening to you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, my brother. How are you, man?
Hey, my brother, I'm good, and you, man. What's up, brother?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yeah, Simo, man,
Yes.
this situation is so, it is bothering, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's bothering, you know, my heart, you know, really goes out to that little child, you know, and every passing day, you know, it you know, you want to keep hope alive, you know, but you have to face reality, and you know, all I can do is hope and pray that she's alive.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
and it is so shameful at the behavior of the opposition, the behavior of Matt Peltier, the behavior of the proprietor of Q95 to allow this malice, this destructive rhetoric, this heartless talk on the radio every day. You know, and Simeon, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have the greatest respect for the police force of Dominica.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because a lot of people sit back and talk.
Mm-hmm.
They sit in the comfort of wherever they are, on their beds or in the living room, and go on Facebook. And Matt Peltier has his radio program, and they call the radio program. How many of them have been to the woods, Simeon? Right? To go and face the unforgiving terrain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? It is not easy what these guys are doing. Right? And I see the desire in them to find a child, Simeon.
Yes.
And I have the utmost respect for them. These guys treat it like it's their own child.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
These people who choose to make this political, Simeon, it's shame on them.
Telling you, my boy.
It's shame on these people. You know? And this guy, this lawyer, will go and have a press conference with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And like you said, never mention the child's name.
No.
The child is somewhere out in the woods, maybe dead, or like we do not know.
Don't know.
Right? The child did not leave and walk to the woods. She was kidnapped at Cutlass Point by a violent individual. And let me tell you something about the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This guy had some mental issues, but that guy was no fool.
Not at all, man.
Right? He was no fool, Simeon. And I learned some things today.
Hmm.
Right? This guy behaved like a terrorist. Right? He was trying to throw the police off. Right? He knew what he was doing.
Of course he knew what he was doing.
Right? And do you know all these people who try to make him a saint now? We know that he terrorized his community.
Mm-hmm.
His own mother said that this guy threatened to kill her. The father had asked the police to shoot him in his leg.
Yes.
Right? He kidnapped the child, and then he badly injured the child's stepfather or uncle, whatever he was, a guardian with a cutlass.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He had to be hospitalized. Now, the person who saw him in the Warner area, I spoke to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy called the police and told the police about, first of all, the guy and his brother encountered him, right? You know what he did?
Mm-hmm.
He chased them with a cutlass.
Yes,
He chased them with a cutlass. The same cutlass.
Mm-hmm.
The guy informed the police. The police came, and this guy they want to paint as a saint and as a crazy man. He threw the police off his track, and they thought that he had left the area. But what he did, he went higher up, and he could see what's going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who saw him told me something.
Mm-hmm.
He said that night he just felt, because he lived in the Warner area,
Mm-hmm.
something told him do not go to his home to sleep. And he went to sleep somewhere with Maho or somewhere. And he suspected that same so-called crazy man came to his house that night.
Wow.
And took his pot and took his lighter. So imagine if this guy was at his home, what could have happened, Simeon?
Wow, serious.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
That guy was not a fool. He had his wits about him. He had some problems, but he had his wits about him.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And again, he also, when the same guy who saw him went looking with the police, again, the guy chased him with a cutlass again, Simeon. So this guy This guy has been a threat and a danger to many people, right? And all those wicked people, I call them the wicked and malicious people, who are trying right now to demonize the police and say shoot him in his leg. They should go in the area and see how easy to shoot him in his leg when he's running in a mountainous air place, right? And they know because they see it all the time. It is standard procedure that if your life is threatened, or there's a perceived threat, the police have right to use deadly force. Okay, they don't shoot you to try to shoot in your leg. Your leg is a small object. They might miss, right? Law enforcement have been trained when their life is in danger or the life of someone else is in danger to shoot to incapacitate you, right? That means to put you down, right? And they aim center mass. They don't aim for no leg. And the police, the deputy did say they shot at his leg, right?
Yes.
But it might not stand him still. He is in a flat area. It is mountainous terrain. There is up dips and valleys and so forth. So it is, and it's a spur of the moment situation, Simeon.
Yes.
The people who criticize, they're not in the situation themselves.
I'm telling you.
And the police know because they of previous encounters that this man is a dangerous individual. Their life was in danger, right? And these people have the nerve to go and take a photo up. If this deplorable lawyer, I call him, right? Even while this poor child is somewhere out in the woods, to represent I call him a terrorist. Right? What about the missing child's parents?
Yes.
Right? They're making a mockery of this child's desperate plight, Simeon.
Yes.
Taking it for a joke. Right? Saying, where have you seen a cutlass 3 feet long? It's not true. And what they're trying to do, Simeon, is to undermine the police's credibility. To make the police look bad, Simeon.
Yes.
But I know what these guys are, and I know how much they are committed to this rescue effort, to this search and rescue effort. They are determined to find that child.
Oh yes, man.
And it really irks me to see people who have done nothing. Who have done nothing. Who is the group that you put in a match for the child? What are they match in the woods? That's why she's somewhere in the woods.
They should have gone and matched the same day that everybody was looking for the child. Match to look for the child.
Yeah. Match. How is matching around Roseau going to help find the child? Who are you matching against? Huh? And then NJAM put out a statement. You never heard of NJAM. All the time the child is missing. They never opened their mouth and say anything.
Word.
They never said anything. They never asked the parents or they never asked people to go out and look for the child.
No.
All of a sudden they're concerned about I call this man a terrorist, Simeon. That's how I call him. From what I've been described about him, I call him a terrorist.
I mean, he was terrorizing the lives of the people in the area. From what you hear from the people, that's how he was operating.
You know what I mean? The man was able to, and the man, as far as the guy told me, this man was sitting on a higher ground and watching everything that goes on. So he knows the guy who told the police. He knew where the guy lived, and he must have gone to look for him in the night. Lord knows what would happen if he had met him.
Dangerous guy, man, he was.
Simeon, these people, and I'm telling you, when I tell you these people have no love in their heart. I mean, it is sad that people have become this way. And they're doing this thing, and you know why they're doing it. They're doing it. They're trying their best to, as silly as it is, irrational as it is. They try to find a way to blame the Prime Minister, to blame the Minister of National Security, and blame the police. That's what they're trying to do.
But that's what they have been doing, brother.
And it makes no sense. It's irrational. It's illogical. Right? The person who's to be blamed for all this is the kidnapper. The kidnapper. And some of the people, his family members who have not shown any interest in the safety of that child. You heard the interview?
Yes.
He took a child for his comfort, like a child, a teddy bear, for his comfort, and he, all kinds of excuses about his wife left him and he had a child looking like a child, all kinds of excuses, right? And telling us, right, when the guy does not take his medication, he's dangerous. That's what the mother said,
Yes.
Right? But at the same time, she said, oh, he'll bring the child back. He's in the woods with no medication. Right? So according to the mother's own statement, we had the child in the woods with a man, not on medication, who was very violent and dangerous. So what must we assume under the child? What must we assume now? From his own mother's words, what must we assume? A 12-year-old little precious little girl, Simeon,
yes,
in her bed, in her bedroom, is taken away like this, and somewhere lost in the woods.
The woods, man.
Can you imagine what the child got gone through, man?
I mean, it's a lot of trauma. That child would have gone through from looking at the chopping up of the uncle of this man. I mean, she would have witnessed these things because she was right there, based on the report given by the wife, where the husband was trying to take the child away from this guy and wrestling with him to the point where he fell out from the house, and the guy continued to chop him. And you would imagine that the child is witnessing all that, and he's grabbing onto this child to take her away at this hour of the night. I mean, this is something. I mean, who wants to experience that, my friend?
There's a lot of things I learned. I spoke to people, and it is so heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. It is so sad. And when we expect Dominicans, we all Dominicans, when certain situations arise, when we're supposed to rally together to unite for a common purpose and a common cause. And if this is not a cause for us to unite, Simeon,
yes.
What is? How can it be political? A precious little child, innocent. What are you playing politics? How is that? Boy, it is really bothering me, Simeon.
I understand how you feel, brother. So when I listen to them myself, I get angry sometimes, and I try to control my temper because, it's just ridiculous, how these guys have taken this thing and tried to make it look like it is now the Prime Minister's fault, the Minister of National Security fault, it is the Police Commissioner's fault, it is the Deputy's fault, but they are not saying it is the fault of the kidnapper.
Man, these people are evil. You have to be evil. You have to be so less to act that way. Right? They do not care about a child. Right? She's been re-victimized. She's been through enough. Right? Using the child, and painting her like she was wrong. That the guy kidnapped her. Right? She did nothing wrong. Just want to be a child, to grow up, to go to school, and play with friends, and go to sleep early. And her life was just changed in one night because of a terrorist. I call him terrorist.
He behaved like a terrorist.
That's what I call him. That's what I call him. I don't care about all his issues. I don't care about that. Because no child should have to endure this. No, none. And all these people who trying to make her seem like she's wrong, that somebody kidnapped her, they should put themselves in the parents' shoes and think, if that was your child, how would you feel? Think about it. The pain you feel right now. That your little girl was just, just her life was it just changed.
Change, man. Change, man.
I'm hoping and praying she's alive. Hoping and praying she's alive.
So that's all we can do.
I will go back in the woods tomorrow, Simeon. I will go back in the woods tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I will go back and look because I still have some hope that we will find her.
Let's keep on praying, brother. Wow.
My brother, thank you very much.
Thank you again.
What
man.
you do.
Thank
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother Donny, and continue. And you're my brother Donny there in the bush, on the ground, helping with the search. What is you be doing? Sending a post. Let's walk with the face of the child in there, missing child. Let us walk for her. Let's walk for Kishna Etienne. 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Here where they walk in by Privo Cinema. Really? On the overseas line there, good evening to you. Good evening on the overseas line. Are you there with me, caller? All right. Not sure what happened to your telephone there, but seem to have missed you there. But you want to walk by Privo Cinema in Roseau. But it seems to me that's where the fella maybe wow, Sazoka fait marcher là. Good evening on the overseas line.
Simo, good evening. You hearing me clearly?
Yeah, my brother. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Good evening, my brother. I must say good evening to all your listeners at home and abroad. Again, my heart goes out as I hear you with your opening comments and the other callers, previous callers who called, Simeon. It is really every day. It hurts more and more as the days goes by to imagine, Simeon, a 12-year-old, as you said, that was traumatized. What went on, traumatized, dragged out of the house, and in the bushes somewhere, she doesn't have a clue. Doesn't have a clue where she is. Simeon, I have a 7-year-old girl, and I don't know how I would not sleep day or night until I find that child. Hoping to have, hoping that she'll be found alive. I mean, if anybody who has, any kind of moral fiber in the body would feel that urgent sense and need to get that child back. And you're listening to people on the other side. You're listening to Leonard Clinton and the others just have no sense of nothing. They don't even, as you said, they don't even mention the name of the child. And you have lawyers even talking news conference, representing what? Simeon, can I ask you, did the child kidnap the guy or the guy kidnapped the child?
It's the guy who kidnapped the child. The child was innocent in that case.
Yeah, but they are speaking as if it's the child that kidnapped a helpless guy, who was sick. And I mean, this is the kind of response that you're getting from the other side. But Simeon, if they love Kian so much, if the owner of Q95, if Matt Peltier, if Bella Clinton, if all their spokesperson and supporters love Kian so much, Kian have been over in the Warner area, Bells, for quite a while none of them picked him up and gave him some help. How all of a sudden, Kian is the best thing that happened since sliced bread. And we know what the motive is. They don't like Kian. People don't care about Kian. They never had no interest in Kian. People was talking about this guy calling the civilians or the people, the residents were calling the police and they had problems. They were traumatized by this guy. This guy was a threat to society. As Donnie, my friend, just said, a known terrorist in the society. None of them was talking about Kian on the radio to say, oh, we have a situation and we need to rally our resources and see how we can help this guy. But no, they want to use Kian now, Simeon, to say that the government, the police, the Minister of National Security, they want to cast some kind of blame on somebody for what they don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Simeon, there's a 12-year-old missing, and we cannot find her. That is the discussion that we should be having. That is that discussion that they are having about the guy that died. He is deceased. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We have something on our hands.
Mm-hmm.
But the hypocrisy, Simeon, the hypocrisy of these guys is way above and beyond. They don't care about anybody. The UWP, under the leadership of Lennox Linton, Simeon, I declare tonight that they do not care about a soul. All of this fluff and this kind of trying to get recognition on radio and just talking out of where the sun doesn't shine is that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
A madman, well, we call him a madman, but a young man is on the loose. He's threatened, he have threatened, and Donnie gave you several instances where he have threatened people with a cutlass. And them guys talking as if Kian is some nice little fella on the side of the road or in a bus stop sitting and police just walk up on him. Simeon, when is this hypocrisy, when is this level of stupidity from the UWP going to stop?
Mm-hmm.
When are they going to understand that that is not politics? That is a young girl who is in nowhere, in a place where she don't know where she is. And you listen to the lawyers against Kerry and all of them that all of a sudden they have emerged. Where were they all the time? Simeon, this is a serious case, and you put a clip of Rodney and talking about the police need to be trained, or serious work has to be done.
Yeah. Well, according to him, the police is being trained to torture people. I don't know who the police is torturing. I mean, I don't know Dominican police torturing anybody.
But Simeon, Rodney is a crazy man. He's a stone crazy man. I mean, what do you want the police to do? But you know, Simeon, Rodney them has never condemned none of the violence that the UWP has inflicted on the property and people of Dominica over the years. Rodney never condemned the threat that the UWP leader have asked the people of Salisbury to stone the police. Rodney have never condemned that. Rodney have never condemned the burning and looting of February 17, 2017 in Roseau. Never did he condemn it. The torture that happened in Marigot, or people coming to vote, he never condemned it. The priests that they put under pressure and almost killed in Marigot, he never condemned it. But Rodney now come about the police. The police need, trade special. The police is torturing people. But Rodney didn't take it fast, Simeon. You will remember that Lennox Linton went to the UN while the Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt was fighting on behalf of the people of Dominica to get aid after hurricane. Lennox Linton tell them, do not give him no aid because the government of Dominica is committing atrocity against the people. So Rodney is reading from the same playbook of Lennox Linton 5 years ago. They are one of the same. Rodney is an operative of the UWP. So I am not surprised when Rodney criticized the police. I am not surprised. And you guys said that you're surprised with the UWP and Lennox Linton, Matt Peltier. I'm not surprised. I am disheartened because it tells me, Simeon, that there is no growth left for these guys.
They have reached the point of no return. They have no moral motivation or fiber to support anything that is good. Them guys are hell-bent on supporting malice. The Indian refugee that came, or fugitive, sorry, that came from where he came from, Antigua, the rejects, and now Kian, a terrorist, that have terrorized people. These are the guys, these are the kind of people, Simeon, that these guys have. So for Dominican to expect the UWP under the leadership of Lennox Linton to rise above the fray, you are wasting your time, your conscience, and your good brain. What I can admonish Dominicans in closing, Simeon, is never let these guys get in power ever again. And Simeon, we are saying that every night because there's a reason why we're saying that. We have what we know, why we're saying that, and they are proving it every day. Let's continue, Simeon, to follow the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, the cabinet, and the work that they're doing. People that are interesting and people that have Dominica and Dominicans at home and abroad in their heart and working in the common interest. Simeon,
yes, sir.
Let's continue the good work. In closing, my brother, have a good night, and I'll be listening to the remainder of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your contribution on the local line. Good evening. Local line, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. You have something in the background there. You need to turn it down. Yeah. Yeah, caller, are you there? You have something in your background there? All right, you're gonna have to call me back because you need to get that fixed. On overseas line, good evening to you.
Hello, good night.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Hi, Simeon. Good night to everyone, the previous caller, senior counsel, everybody, and Dominica, our listeners. The scenario that went through today with these, according to Jamaicans, these worthless people, right? Do you know the search has a cost where whenever you're looking for somebody has to pay that bill, right? No, this family get a lawyer to sue the state, right? They're suing the state. So are they saying they take full responsibility of the kidnapper, a.k.a. terrorist, because he terrorized his people in the village, and he terrorized Dominicans for sure, because some kids couldn't sleep, some parents couldn't sleep at their home, right? Are they taking the full responsibility of the terrorist and the kidnapper's behavior? I want to know that. I would like somebody to call and let me know, because I am not a lawyer. I can't tell you what it is. Right here in the U.S., when you have a lone gunman terrorist go out and do some kind of wicked things to kids at school, right? The government will go after the parents if that person dies, right? So I want to know if there is a bill, because you know that the police have, some of the policemen are fathers. They was in the bush on Father's Day looking for the baby, for the young girl, right? And what they find? Nothing. But instead they find a terrorist, kidnapper, armed with a cutlass, and I understand he was he had his shield on him, his galvanized on him. I don't know how true is that, right? So this guy definitely know what he was doing, because as far as I hear, he tried to take the police on a ride where he the word I'm looking for, trying to lead the police to a different area to throw the police off his fence, right? What I want to know, are these parents, are the lawyer going to advise the parent of that kidnapper that once they do that, they are going to take full responsibility of this man's action, this kidnapper's action, all right? And plus, if this child's adopted father succumbs to his injury, that is another case by itself. That is going to be add up. There is no law that's going to put a dead man in prison, but somebody has to bear that responsibility of this man, of this kidnapper. I don't want to call him man, because as far as I hear, he was smarter than a lot of us put together. It's just the bad thing is he wasn't smart enough to don't go and take jail for his wife, to find his wife in bed with another man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard you, brother.
So anyway, Simeon, I want somebody to call and let me know if these people can be charged for that bill, because the police is still at work, working overtime. You understand?
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for taking my call. Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution there. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this was a huge cost for the state. I mean, the police and the civilians who had to all leave their work, and this was something that many people came out in the early days, and that's why I big up guys like Kenny G and the guys from Roseau and all of the guys who really came out in numbers, because when I heard them, I too was motivated, and I have to tell you that they came out and searched, with everything they had, because they understood how critical it was to get this child from this man and to bring her home. And obviously, they did not succeed in doing that, not by no fault of theirs. Everybody tried. So that's why I got irritated and I got mad when I heard Matt Peltier playing this foolishness about referring to these guys as thugs. There are no thugs. These are citizens of the country who we should honor for their genuineness in going to help with a genuine search for the people, not what Afimate and others are asking people to come to Roseau on Wednesday to join them in doing by Prevost City Mall. Caller, good evening.
Hello, good evening. You hear me better now?
I'm hearing you, yes.
Simeon, I really don't understand what's really going on, How can a child disappear and all of a sudden they're thinking more of the man, the madman, the man who commits the crime? As the man say, I wonder if right now they can hold them responsible of the child because they had the child. You understand, Simeon?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, yes.
Because what I'm saying is, you see, history continues. Because when they took Julian and Junie, they had shot Israel in his knee and he died. You understand? So some people would say maybe they could have shot the guy in his foot, break his leg. But that guy is on the run for how many days? He's weak. I would not blame the police because to me, when I listen to those things, it brings back the memories of Tumba. And I will never forget, it was Julian's parents who paid my father and them all the time to go and search for them girls, even when the defense force and the police had given up. My father and them used to go up all in the bush every day, and the man was going around our area, and Tumba and them was right up Monja Blote. Simeon, that brings back memories. And I can remember when Mr. Green Lawrence told me to tell my father to come early morning that they suspect where these guys just be. And Simeon, my father and them went. I don't know at what level they get the police and them involved with Julian brother. Simeon, Julian brother told me, I don't really want to have that, When they get to Nicroy and Hamlet, course, take my father, My father had the gun in his hand, and that gun fell in his hand that he gets so a kind of a way that, remember them boys dangerous, you don't know how they're going to attack you. And everybody would know my father was a hunter and that man was a warrior, and he gets cool sweat. That's why I can understand what really happened. You understand? Because that man, if you had given, I was afraid for even the civilians that was going in the bush and look for the man. If the way they say he is so desperate, and when somebody knows they're going to die, they will want to kill, and how much before? I think right now for the way they're reacting, because the guy died, they're not reacting about the child. And remember, again, when they got to Nicroy and Hamlet, Nicroy did not want to talk. And Simeon, I remember that word in my mind. No, man should not reveal. They could have that guy, and that guy sometimes would never talk if he wants to sacrifice that child.
That's right.
And it's Hamlet that took them up to those girls. I remember that. And if that man did not tell me to tell my father to come and meet him that morning, and that mother, my Idora, she never give up on her child. So to me, if that parents that talking now, they really wanted their son to give up that child or come back and get help, they would be with that police with a mic and calling on their son to come down and give up. Because if that boy had just give up the child, he would not die. Because if he go with that child and maybe kill that child, his soul is gone already. And if he had wanted to turn back, he could have just give up that child and they would not have killed him. But he gave up his soul already. And he never would say where that child is. So right now, the parents that defended that want to bring down that policeman, that want to bring down the police and say like their son was so innocent. I went through those things in life already, Simeon. And I tell you the mother, she's a mother. And that child is a child. And if we take that child from their custody, they can be charged. Because they had supposed to have that child under care. And if they're blaming the police for killing, the parents of that 12-year-old child have to start blaming them too for their daughter. And they have to say something. Because, I mean, you take a child, you hurt your husband. I'm confused, Simeon. I'm confused because I can remember, I always said, well, if they did not kill Israel and Derek in the time of Tumba, maybe they would have gotten, those girls. But if they want to talk, and the boy was shot in his knee, one was in his butt, and they died. So I think the people that put in pressure and saying about they should not, the police could have done this and we don't know. We don't know because the police sometimes was people, I was afraid for civilians, Simeon. Because that man, if he had get chances, remember he's desperate and know he's going down.
Right.
As I said, he will go down. Anytime you see the police is at your trail, I read the constable, I heard it, they will get you. And if that child was in that bush, the police will get the child. Only if that child is in a house locked down somewhere, they have to talk. Because I don't want them giving up on that child. I had a brother that gone through. I don't want them, and they say all kind of a thing to distract not getting that child. That child is a child. This child gone somewhere. They say he took the child, and they met him without the child. And right over they are defending him. What about the child? There's a lot of things we have to correct. So, Simeon.
Yeah.
There are things that they were saying when the boy was 2 weeks behaving bad. The law or whosoever responsible should have, maybe should not have gone that far. Even they, the parents, if they wanted help for their son. Because I would go in a police place, I would go in the mental place, and I will talk. If you want help, you walk with your child. Don't come and blame the police. They have to answer. They have to. I mean, the man is a human being, but he's desperate. You wanted the police maybe to stand there and let you come and fly some head? You understand? If he was polite and decided to surrender, then, hey, Cole said, take my father. So we don't know. We don't know if he was going to charge on somebody. We don't know. And who says maybe he would talk? I mean, if he was, come on, we have to be real. We have to look at his brother, and I look at the mother. You need to tell the grandmother, the pastor, or the government, where is that child? The pastor and his wife were responsible for that child. And the time we start taking people that have children in home and have them in home, or what time in the night, and and sometimes we will blame the government. No, we have to stop blaming, and we have to understand the real situation. I am saying that we need to stand up sometimes. But when you see a man is mental ill, you tell in the police station, now you have a lawyer here and he's standing up, and what can you say? To say what? Where's the child? Where is the child? I mean, the police wanted to get the child. They wanted to get the child, Simeon.
Of course.
And they want it. I mean, why? I mean, we have to be real. We have to be real, and we have to get this story of Tumba, and then we will understand. And I'm saying again, the parents could have held the police together, because if the child is in love with you, wherever you start talking or wherever they see some trait, and you have come there and talk to them and say, or whatever, bring that child, give up, we'll get help for you. Because all you're talking about, he get hurt, he get to go well. Or, they're not talking the truth, it's sad. I'm telling you, it's sad. No one's not going to stand there and say a madman coming on the river for well. I can remember my father too. But it's how much of that fella, how much health he was, how much, come on, we sometimes family, we have to look sometimes and help our family sometimes when they're going down. And no wait, when something happens, we have to look at blaming other people. And even the health sector and whosoever, everybody have to look at a different way, the welfare and everything. When something happens, we ain't no child was there whatsoever. You understand? So somebody somewhere not doing their work, but now, he only kotwaye me, Simeon. He only kotwaye me. And all them people that talking about the police should not. We see video, Simeon, where man say it's kill and throw. Man say all kind of thing if they meet the man, he will lucky. Man did not meet him under the bush.
I tell you.
No, we have to be real. We have to be real. And we have to stop talking for the young children. Her mother disappeared, she's disappeared. Just like that, brother. Just like that. Somebody have to answer some questions.
Thank you, my dear.
See you, Simeon.
Thank you. No doubt this is a serious situation there. On one hand there. I want to read a text message that someone sent to me there, because, you see, someone is saying here, I don't want to read that. People saying here that from the time I heard Matt Peltier ask the PM that question during the press conference, it was obvious that the opposition was strategizing to turn the search and rescue exercise into a human rights issue. I know no one should be surprised. And yes, so this text message is right. It's bringing us back to when Matt Peltier was questioning the Prime Minister. He was more focused, or rather his focus was on if they meet this guy, what they would do to him and what they would not do to him. And obviously that is where the UWP and the opposition started bringing this thing in. And then everything they have been playing, they've been going back to what the commissioner said then. They're replaying what the officer said when he was speaking to the civilians who were helping in the search and telling them that, that they must defend themselves. So you expect the police, Matt Peltier and the UWP, not to tell the people that they must defend themselves when you have a criminal like that with a cutlass outside there, just finished chop up his uncle, that they should not tell them to defend themselves if they encounter that criminal during their search? Why the UWP and Matt Peltier? On the local line, caller, good evening to you.
Yes, Simeon, it's me again.
Yes, dear.
Simeon, I call to support your last caller. Marine, you are so on point good. You take me back in time. Simeon Albert, what Marine says, no lie. Simeon, my uncle was one of them. Hello?
Yes, my dear, I'm listening.
And I could tell you, my uncle was one of them. And when he get gun, they shoot them down in the bush. My grandmother from Capuchin said she don't go and see nobody. Is there when she dance taboo and everything and dancing her belly and say she don't let these animals that are staying bush. She don't bring no defense force. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So parents must learn to, yes, I could tell you. So some of us parents we not uphold the wrong. My grandmother sit down and she didn't go and see nobody, I'm singing. She did not even go to the funeral.
Wow.
You understand? She said she don't like animals. It's animals that are staying bush. So I called to support on Marie and say she know what she's saying and she didn't tell no lie.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Mm-hmm. And that little girl there, every time I see her, every day I remember that little girl there. And asking God to show mercy where she is. If she's alive, what's going on? and his mother, then that mother said that the police need to hold up backside and for some questions and answers. And all these lawyers, the so-called lawyer on that hate government want to make a political mileage out of that. Even I sound freaking good. Even I don't do that.
Yeah. And you know, I understand how you feel, my dear. Someone is saying here, why didn't the mother and the family come on Imo and plead for him to bring back that child? And every day they should have done that. You know, the father said he went to the market and did his normal routine thing, like as if they didn't bother. You know? I mean, your son left with a 12-year-old child. They should have, if from the minute they got the news that they had sight on him, and Rodney's trying to say that the mother would be the best person to negotiate with him, or the father would be the best thing. Well, according to them, he was dangerous. They on the radio, they encourage the police to shoot him before the police even think of shooting him or civilians. They were encouraging the police to take an action on him like that. You know, but why didn't they, Rodney or others, go on that day? Why were they in the bush? I was saying they should have been out there. If he would have listened to them for some reason, they should have been out there. But they were not. They knew he was dangerous. They knew what he was capable of doing. On the overseas line, good evening to you. Good evening on the overseas line.
Brother Simeon, fireman touching base. Good evening to River Nick and the world. Simeon, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Everybody's speaking, but I have my word and I have my voice. And everybody what they say, everybody have a voice. Even the panel that talked earlier on about the family supposed to pay for all them occasions happening. But Simeon, well and truly, you see me? I like to listen on the next side because I tell you, I don't want to talk for talking sake. I like to hear the voice of the people, so I don't have sense. But when I think for myself, I can analyze for myself. Simeon, I heard the man mother speak, I heard the man uncle speak. You heard the first thing I started with my uncle. The man uncle say, your customer going to his home a little late, but that day he just find he move a little early, he move by 1-2 bedrooms before he by his house.
Mm-hmm.
So I see when he go in him at his home, he put off his outside light. He go and make a tea and then he go in his room and relax. Why sit there relaxing here? Somebody calling in the darkness. Yeah, I telling you?
Mm-hmm.
I think what the brother saying, the brother, what he say. He say somebody calling in the darkness. So he come out and he watch. He see his brother in blood, all in blood. He take a towel and he cover his brother. He take his phone and he calling some people in America, which I find I didn't have a problem with his brain already. Anyhow, we realize he call his uncle and his wife come and help him whatsoever he do. And then he say that the fellow customer disturbing the whole area. As you see, when you see everybody talking about Mr. Matt, because he have some bedroom right there in St. Martin there. And them man show me some clip of Mr. I don't even know if them man are telling me for myself. And them man tell me personally, they're not from River Nick, and them man say, Mr. can never be a madman. Because Simeon, once a man cutting animal and drinking the blood, Simeon, you think as a madman, you think madman doesn't think anything, Simeon, let's get real.
No, I don't think so.
My Lord?
Yeah.
Simeon, let's get real. Simeon, you think a madman will cut a little dog and drink it blood? Simeon, man, another joke thing going on what I think, Simeon. Simeon, you see, right now there, when I listen to everybody, well and truly, I realize to myself, River Nika problem is some people that living in River Nika, enjoying the life of River Nika, not doing anything for River Nika, neither for the country. All the concern is for malice and bad mind, all things bad for the country and for the people, to make a joy and make a fun out of it. You know what I'm telling you, Simeon? We have to get wise, you know. That's why there is not a politician, but I tell a man already, this little island they call Dominica, which fireman called River Nika, that is my place, no, Simeon. And nobody will love River Nika more than me, you know. So who want to say River Zide, but nobody will love River Nika. That's why I don't bring no crack, no gun, no malice in my country. I bring them to elevate and motivate humanity and my country. Want to do that is a business. But back to the occasion, Simeon. I'm telling you, Simeon. Yeah. So the uncle say now, Mr. say that he himself want a virgin for him to drink the blood and eat the body, eat half of the body. I tell you what the brother, the uncle say no. You right telling you now? No, jump on the mother now. The mother say that, right? Mr. is a nice child. Mr. this problem in St. Thomas, if a woman whatsoever. But he take a 3 months prison. And while he was in the prison, the wife really didn't know what's happening. So he come out in the prison and he come by the home mystical in a sense that maybe he has something, but he want to surprise her in a way, you know? So when he go in the living room, he see a mattress and a fella practicing. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that gave my mental problem. She say, that's what he say. What she said that I say, because I'm talking, I don't say what I want and I say what the lady say. Yeah. Because of that I get to know her. Right? So anyhow, she said she tried to make him come down because he going through. She tried to make him come down in River Nika. Now he come down, they get in contact with his wife and blah, blah, blah. So anyhow, everybody know Mr. doing enough thing, and I know Mr. do mad. Them fellas, they have the devil in them, Simeon. Them man, they put this Satan in them. Them man, right now, when you watch it good, our problem in River Nika, again, as I say, is Mr. Because it's because of Mr. Malice and Mr. Darkness they bring in our country. Because we never, I don't know how long that we never have that kind of occasion happen in River Nika. To me, it's like a while now. It happened, I don't know, I wasn't there, I just come in the world. But since I know myself in River Nika, to me, it's first time I really in that plane that a man kidnapped his daughter and kidnapped his own family whatsoever. No, based on what the mother say, he's a nice boy, blah, blah, blah. No, your mother, he loves you plenty, right? You know all about him. If the man can take a machete, that's why the churches have a problem. And if that lady says she has the key for the church and that church have a serious problem. And all of them that have a problem. I tell you, not joking, Simeon. Because the man machete his own uncle, which is a pastor. Right? Machete his uncle, you know. The sister, which is mother, saying that he love his family. But if he can machete his own uncle, how come his uncle is part of his family then?
Well, his uncle.
He going to take. Huh?
His uncle, you know. I mean, that's a close family.
But of course, Simeon, that's your brother, that's your sister, your mother, brother Simeon. You know what I'm telling you? Simeon, you see me, I have a problem with my brothers. In spite of everything, you see me, I would never take a machete and machete the brother, and machete the daughter, whosoever. No, that is garbage, I don't problem them thing. Me and them problem, even my youth son, I tell them personally, me and my brother problem do have nothing to do with Volu. That is me and his problem. That's nothing with Volu business. You know what I'm telling you? That is my kind of policy. You know what I'm telling you, Simeon, so I don't get mixed up. Which again, me and your problem have nothing to do with them. That is me and his problem and whosoever. That's all the business. If Volu did something that wasn't wrong, I'll put on that's a different thing. But get to the problem now, Simeon, right? No, if he loves you so much, he might check your own brother, right? No, you say now, he have a daughter in St. Thomas looking just like his son Nikizolytic for his comfort. So you know so much about him. Instead of all them kind of police have to be in bush and all Kennedy, give thanks, Kennedy. Good evening to you. I hope you're blessed. Give thanks for life. No matter what people say about you, my Lord. You're a great brother in River Nika. You concern about your country and the people and give thanks and enough love and respect for you. Big up Kennedy all the time. Nobody can do it like you because that's the first time you're custom. So who that talking is garbage, they want to do nothing and they'll stay baggage. You know what I'm saying? No. The uncle himself, as I say, the man matched his brother, as I tell you. No, you say that he's a good son. No, you know so much about him. So instead of having the police have to looking for Mr., everybody looking for him. You know, you and your husband and your crew and your family also come together and tell everybody, step aside, make me take in charge because that is my concern right now. You hear me, my Lord?
Yeah.
Before I making sense why wrong, why right?
I'm following you.
Because Simeon, a man have a machete. That man is a dangerous man and an evil man. That man cutting animal and drink the blood. That is no joke kind of man. I say again, I never stop saying it. It's a good thing is the police that find Mr. Because it was maybe other people that drink the little rum and the little food and they well tired, they tired. In machete, more people are killed. And even they killed 2 police now, top up and the crew happy. He killed 2 police because they're checking with the police because they have no respect for the security of the country. You know what I'm telling you? That's what I'm saying. Them are not telling us, Simeon. Our problem in River Nika is some people that enjoy in River Nika, living like kings and queens, in other words, and taking advantage of the country, and there's the one that's saying whatsoever, because there's the problem of River Nika. River Nika is a problem, because everybody outside here love River Nika people. Everybody outside here, one good for River Nika, one good for River Nika people. It's just top up and his crew, them little devil that's fighting for, in other words, they want the country to employ them. But top up all you have no space, the country never employ all you never employ yourself, neither. It's we that employ every politician in the Caribbean all over the world. Get it straight. You know what I'm telling you? So now the mother and the father now. Instead of putting all that stress and all on to die, get all yourself together and tell people, step aside, and I'm going to take in charge to find my son and find the daughter, because the daughter is our biggest problem. You know what I'm telling you, Simeon? So when I'm talking the garbage, that's the brother say, but you he right. No, you telling me right now you want to take a lawyer. No, that fella they call him, why is his name? Why that lawyer name?
Bianzin.
Why is his name?
Tiani Bianzin, yeah.
That is son of Honorable Mr. National Hero, Honorable Rosie Douglas' son, right?
He's one of the Douglas' sons, yes. I can't even tell you which one because he have a different surname.
This one, I think I Rosie son of one of them.
I know he's a Douglas.
Simeon, you see, Mr. Long time Mr. Tormented, Simeon. Long time Mr. Tormented. So I don't worry about Mr. Because think of it. If your son kidnaps somebody's child, machete your brother, have the country in darkness, you know, that everybody suffering all different ways and form, trying to find the princess. Almost everybody crying in their heart and in their soul. All of you praying in all different ways and form. Right? You telling me you're going to get a lawyer to bring the government to court, which means no. The government has supposed to get two international lawyers to take you and your family to court for disturbing the country. Because if you're so concerned about your son, and because of your son's darkness, why our country suffer like that? Why are you going through a lot going through in our state, Simeon? Not because of this son a lot happening, Simeon. Will I say that problem, Simeon?
Yeah, I mean, the son who created that problem.
So if you're so concerned, you want to bring the government to court for killing your son because of his darkness and his malice, and you have to die 100 times in no apology. You know what I'm telling you? You know we're supposed to bring you to court. To even as the brother said, but you, all the bills, all the money, all them, for the brother, just your darkness, someone telling me, oh, world boss don't want to look for the child. Let me tell you something, partner. You find you really making sense? Partner, I tell him, when them fellas from Guadalupe, Matnik, when they come to River Nika, it's top up at for them. I tell him, when all whosoever that come and bring help in River Nika, it's top up for them. I tell me one person. Tell me them and somebody say, I tell him, what you so concerned about the child, and even the boy that died, I don't play heavy. Tell me one person that Honorable Lennox Linton, better known as Top Up, the man that Edison Top Up, and the Top Up you're looking for is a Top Up baby. Tell me one person he tried to get to assist the government and the River Nika people to get that child, Simon. Simon, you know somebody you get?
No, I don't know.
So what World Boss work is to do, Simeon, is to prepare everything that the security force need to do what they have to do. Whosoever increase, whosoever concerned, or whosoever interested. You know what I'm telling you? Not that the World Boss have to do nothing, Simeon.
But of course, I mean, give leadership where it's necessary, yeah.
Thank you. So why stop up destroying World Boss putting things in place? Stop up our problem with that way. But we have to get real about them, man. I tell you, plan we approach them, man, they're very serious. Simeon, I tell you already, I have to have my own program. You know my program have to be River Nika time to shine, and all who interested, all anytime, any hour, just do destroy the program because it has to be a serious program, Simeon.
Yes, sir.
Simeon, me tell you something here.
Yeah, man.
Right now, we're at River Nika there, Simeon, I tell you, 100 years we have been suffering. And we're searching and looking for leader all over. Them man tell me in St. Vincent they're looking for the different one. Grenada, everywhere looking for one. They tell me the one we have in River Nika. Simeon, if I give us a gift, right? Simeon, well, boss, as you know, as everybody says, and you yourself know it, he didn't come there as a big man like Top Up looking for job or looking for work. Well, boss come there because the father placed him there and not here put himself there. We the people that have world boss there. You know what I'm telling you, Simeon?
Yeah.
And that country has been suffering for hundreds of years. And now it's our time to shine, Simeon. Simeon, there's no stopping us. World Boss can do it by himself, Simeon.
Yeah, man.
We that love our country, love our people, we have to get together and develop our country for the behalf of our people and foreigners who want to come and have a life. You see me, I'm not a foreigner, you know, you see me in St. Martin here, you know, passing through, you know.
Yeah, man.
I'm a refugee, you know. River Nika is my place, but who bless no one because they'll bring me before time.
Thank you, man.
Passing through, Simeon.
Thank you, brother.
Before I roll out, Simeon, big up my people, so me very roll out. Simeon, as I say again, World War can't do it by itself. We have to come together to build our country for our people. There is no stopping us now. World Boss, good evening to you. Mommy married if you know already. Big up mommy all the time. Mother, but mommy, you know already have to hold it down. All have a little balance. No, Sister Stephen not there physically. Original Mr. Moses, my great lawyer, not there physically. My great brother. That man is a life changer. Great brother, Rasta man in River Nika. My Lord, the whole Labour family. Mommy not in St. Martin. Bibbs in America, my brother. The man family. The old lady in red. The little Labour right in St. Thomas. Simeon, big up the sister, Simeon, long to big up.
Yeah,
Simeon, up and running.
Thank you, brother.
Punches our wood. Nobody can do it for us. Fireman running. Bless up, my brother.
Yeah, bless up there, Fireman. Thank you again for your contribution here tonight as we go into, approaching the 11 o'clock hour as the search for, young 12-year-old Kenisha continues. And no doubt it is becoming every day that passes by, the situation becomes worse and worse and worse in the minds of every citizen of this country who is no doubt praying for this child safe return. And it is, everybody's wondering what really, will happen. Where is she? Is she alive? How is she eating? How is she drinking? Is she tied down somewhere? Is she dead? I mean, did he kill her on the very night that he injured? And so many, unanswered questions, and everybody is no doubt searching. And that's what happens when you are dealing with someone who has a condition like what this young fella had there. No doubt a very serious situation on hand there right now with a missing child who obviously, had such a beautiful smile on her face from every photograph that I saw of her. and she obviously having lost her mom, or, over 8 years now, living without her mother, and, going to school. I listened to Curtis Matthew today conducting some interviews in the school where the 12-year-old would have gone to school, and listening to the children in that school who she sat in the very same class like them, obviously, wanting to have her back, speaking of how friendly and how much she was their friend, and she was such a loving and kind young lady and young child, and to see that, she's out there somewhere in the jungle, messieurs. Could she have survived? Can she survive in this jungle with all of this bad weather that we had, rain and the conditions that, I am seriously saying tonight that we are praying for a safe return. But in the meantime, I am very concerned whether she could or survive any of this. Or the question mark is, what did this guy do on the very night when they claim that when the moon is full, he does a finger stick him? What did he do on that night? He was so vicious on that night when he injured his uncle, his very uncle. He was vicious. When I heard how this man cut his uncle, I just say, oh my God in heaven. That night may have been the window of opportunity for saving this child's life, if a life had to be saved. Because obviously, from every person who have spoken to me about this young man who came in contact with him, who knew him, he was really, a terrorist by himself. When you say you want to kidnap, I can just kidnap that child. You understand? And it's something that he was contemplating for a while now in the community of Warner and Bells, that he will just kidnap, because he's looking for a virgin. He's looking for a virgin. He wants to have a sacrifice, and the drawings in his house, in his building, on the wall, every room that they videoed in that building where he stayed, everything was just pure evil on this wall. Was he messing with the devil? Did the devil take over his soul? Was he involved in witchcraft? People who get involved in the devil and play with the devil has nothing good in mind for you all. And so this man was obviously, the Bible tell you, if you baptize and you're born again and you backslide, you just have 7 demons just follow you. How many demons was following him, we don't know. But seriously, a child life is now at stake there. And the man who was responsible for making all of these things happen now is being treated as a victim by the members of the opposition, trying to blame the police. Matt, can you play back this one of the deputy commissioner for me? Matt, can you play back this one where the police said that people should defend themselves? Matt, you're a set of wicked people that did that UWP there, and I tell you they're wicked. These people, they're wicked. You're not concerned about the living, a dangerous man, and you don't want the police to tell the civilians that if they encounter him, that they must defend themselves. So if I was outside there in the jungle and that man approaching me for cutlass, you're trying to tell me I should not defend myself? I should stand up there and let him chop me down? And then the Workers' Party people would say, good for me. But God is good all the time. And we want to thank the police for continuing the work that they're doing. As I've said, I've never seen better police officers like those we have in Dominica, because the opposition UWP, they provoked these policemen so much in that country in the past few years. And the police never injured any of them. Those who got injured was not because of the police. It was because the leader of the opposition, Lennox Linton, stood up on a platform in Roseau and tell them that they have more power. And so they went and destroyed properties of private citizens and public properties. Not one property did they destroy that belonged to the opposition UWP. Every property that they destroyed back on February 7th was that of a person who they know was aligned to the Labour Party. And the wicked Lennox Linton sit down on the radio recently and say after all of those years, he finally figured out in his brain, in his melon brain, he finally figured out that it was labor rights that was burning down Roseau. It was labor rights that was burning Fokole. It was labor rights that caused Simeon Albert to stay in his studio for 10 hours on that night. You know, wicked Lennox Linton that encouraged the citizens to take school wash and throw behind the police. And you want to be a prime minister of this country? You are asking citizens to throw cool wash behind the police, and you want to be a prime minister? Huh? How can you want to be a prime minister of the country and ask citizens to violate the constitution, violate the laws of the country, disrespect law enforcement? And then here they are now trying to paint a picture as if it is the police who went wrong, it is the government who went wrong, when everything that was done initially, instantly, was to seek to try to rescue the life of that child. All of the civilians who came out, who put themselves out there, who worked hard every day, those who slept up there in the jungle, did not go home because they wanted to bring that child home. Instead of thanking them, instead of, thanking God for the efforts that they made, even if they did not find that child, you all call them thugs. You all refer to them and calling people all kind of JA names. Indecent language is something I know. When you use it in the public, you would be charged. It is against the law to use certain indecent language in the public. On Q95, they're just using it like as if, and all you say, Dominic are not free. And all you say, our Prime Minister, loving Prime Minister, is a dictator. And so much violation I seen that happening on Q95 with the callers and people who call this program and the language, calling people thief every day. Matt Peltier find himself in court. He was sued because he allowed his callers to call and call people thief. Every day they have a so-called man named Blessing, whatever his name, Tyrone, almost chop up his own brother, his own family, calling people thief. Blessing, you better behave yourself and stop that nonsense about calling people all kind of allegations, and pray to God for good health and strength and longevity, and so you can take care of your son. It's ridiculous when I listen to the things that they say. I'm tempted sometimes to call them, I don't call them because I come here and I have a program that I can delete them. But these opposition people, they are a bunch of wicked people. Every day they get up with no evidence. And when they have them thief and them watching them in their face, and then people that committing all the crime. And UWP just love criminals. I don't understand how a party can love criminals like that. Rejock say he is the biggest money launderer, crime, whatever it is, they in love with him. Sticky Finger go, he take all the DAS money, he put it on his account, he put land in his name. The man did something that nobody should do. Lennox Linton say he put it in an interest-bearing account, in a vehicle to defending that. Everything for the UWP is the love criminal. Jason Fontaine, the biggest, they in love with him. They bring down a man named Choxy from wherever Choxy come out. I don't know, Kingdom, wherever he come out from. Boom. Lennox Linton want to know Choxy and the family. Oh, how can you have a man like Choxy and I don't know Choxy? I want to know Choxy family. They in love with Choxy. Every day, Choxy. Ale de pikile, you still ale Choxy Jikachelba. In love with Choxy. I never see that. They play like they don't like criminals. They in love with criminals. Then here you come this other criminal now. Yes, this man is a real criminal. They on the Q95 calling us in Labour Party criminal every day. But when you have a real criminal that chopped down his uncle, that takes a 12-year-old kidnapper, bring her God knows where, maybe kill her by now. They're on a radio, they're trying to talk all kind of thing about what the police should do and what the police shouldn't do and where the police wrong, and talking about torture and talking about kind of nonsense, while you have a missing child and a 12-year-old who God knows may be suffering even as we speak if she's still alive, if he didn't kill her. That doesn't trouble them. They're in love with the criminal. They're trying to justify what the criminal did and looking for human rights for the criminal because they in love with criminal. This is a party that all of them in it, they are a bunch of criminals. But they're calling Labour Party thief and criminal. Everybody in Labour Party thief. Everything Labour Party do is thief. Everything Labour Party do is criminals. But they are the ones that in bed with the criminals. Check them out. See the people that speak on their behalf. See the people they call to interview, to say things. They are the ones who are the criminals. And they want to call people thief and criminal every day in the country. Check them good. That's why every time you hear they try to set a trap for the Labour Party, the trap does catch them. Because they are the real violent criminals. Not the Labour Party. They are the ones. The evidence shows that while Lennox Linton was the accusing Labour Party of selling diplomatic passport, it was him Al Jazeera catch. It was him. He tried to burn down Roseau for that. He tried to, he bring a big screen in Roseau. Oh, this is Montferred. Montferred. Diplomatic passport was sold. Really? And when they put him before the court for accusing people of selling diplomatic passport, he can't present the evidence in the court of any sales of diplomatic passport. But I know if he before the court now, the Al Jazeera report is evidence that he sold diplomatic passport. And that is not no lie. That is a real story. That is facts. Nobody making that up on him. But they're on a radio morning, noon, and night, trying to find a way to accuse everybody else of doing wrongdoing. When within their organization, they are all membet, mempoel. They made out of the same clothing. The people who speak, they admit publicly what they are. They are the criminals. Caller, good evening to you on the overseas line.
My son, Simeon, I'm glad. Simeon, I would like to maybe with one of those meeting Cecil, because Cecil had a program on DBS when the lady they had kidnapped in the 70s in the Zion. Simeon had that, not Simeon, Cecil had that program, how do you call that program on Sunday? Cecil had that program. And the lady of the boy mother, but she had said, shoot him in his 2 foot. God, what she had said, she said, shoot him in his 2 foot. She called on the police to do it. No, they cried. I got to tell you something. All of them, they are workers. And you know, that's what the workers will do. That's what they want. Which is what I mean. And make them know in 1979, he had kidnapped by Marlin. Marlin is right. But something that happened in the 70s because I am 62 years old now. I could tell you. I could remember about that thing that happened maybe I don't know if it's Portsmouth or wherever in the Zion when they had them. So when you see workers paying their cinema, Matt have got a daughter. I would like to know if they kidnap that daughter. What Matt would say, and the person that is good for Mr. Matt, it was I rise because they wanted Matt transport twice to go and do bad things. And I would like to know if they ever give the kids when they're taking the transport. So Matt is a sacred murderer. Matt is a
No, you can't call him a murderer. He don't kill nobody. I would not accept that. Don't call him that name. Yeah, you can say he's wicked. Yeah, murderer is a strong word.
I would take it back to me, no problem.
Thank you, man.
Matt is a wicked guy. Because Matt is against the government. Or what the government do, they're against him, Matt always against. But I would like to know if they kidnap my daughter, what he would say. He will support it. Anyway, my boy, before I go, play back to Abai.
Yes, my brother. On the local line, good evening to you.
Good evening, Simeon.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to be observant, the moment they start to walk, what happens?
They go in the cemetery.
Yeah, and what happens since after that? And the moment the priest, the Catholic priest, Saturday, had that television, what happened? Because I always say, the man invoked some old spirit. And it has to take the priest. I have somebody say about spirit, I can remember they in Portsmouth, where they invoked 2 spirits. And it was some Catholic priest and other priests that had to put them back, if people can remember. And so we have to be very much observant and keep our children close and pray and think positive. What you will hear, they never condemn what happened. They sell his souls. When you walk in
midday, you walk in. You walk in for what peace? They don't have a war in Dominica. Nobody knows what they're chanting down. Then you're going in the cemetery. Then you're going in the bushry. Then since that time is crime and things that happening. And they never talk. It's a destruction. They know what's going on. Sacrifice. Why is they taking so much and they forget about the child? I know. Believe me, Simeon, them man invoking some kind of old spirit, and everybody that connected with that spirit, they reacting. They very much reacting. And especially when some people go to funerals, just look at it. Fresh day.
Yeah.
People know happy and they know exactly. Them man know what they're working for. You don't see them man playing a blind eye. From the moment the man start going, I tell all it's a cult. And that guy, he was involved in cult. And then he had give up his soul. That's invoking all old spirits to do their thing for them. But the word that. As long you have Jah in you, it will always overcome. But we have to be very much observant and think of that priest. And I would ask the priest, why they go chanting? Why they were on the street with that, that Saturday morning and then the guy dead?
Well, the priest, the church came out to pray for the safe return of that child.
Yeah, in return, but they know what's going on. They know. They can see that all. You know, them talking about Save Dominica. They're talking about Save Dominica. They know. They know exactly that old spirit is around that place. And they got that man that same day. More have to happen, more prayers, but we have to be very much observant. Man can't be walking every day like that. You want to go into the cemetery. Simeon, love the moon. Them people invoking old spirit and have to take the priest to turn them back with praise. Trust me on that.
Yes, sir.
It's going to bring them down. And all folks they're talking, they know what's going on. They're pointing finger on everything else, but they know what's going on, those United Workers Party. But one thing I'm saying, the devil doesn't give power. It's just like the guy that died. If he go in his cult for power, like everybody, I know some people read old books, and see what that was coming after him. Sword to prick him, gun to kill him, and he died. He still died. But if he had going Jah, so nobody that go in cults, that's what you're going to get. Sword at you, guns at you, and you're going to die in the end. The devil cannot save your soul. The devil will destroy your soul. If that is a cult, as a matter, they must stop that.
Yes, I. Thank you, my dear.
Bye-bye.
Yes, I. Yeah, you're right. What Afi and them doing there now is like as if it's some kind of cult business. I mean, the way they went in the cemetery, the way they stood up over the graves, several graves, praying for the resurrection of the dead. I mean, evoking, because that is like invoking the dead spirit, and then very soon they might have to have some kind of 9 night to go and bury them, kind of send back those old spirits where they come out. That's all the kind of thing that the Workers' Party bringing people in, going and worship sun. Now they're worshiping the dead. Good evening on the overseas line there.
Hey, good evening, brother Simi. Finally, I got through.
Hey, my brother, what's up, man?
Good. I love your energy tonight, man. I love your energy tonight. You're on fire, boy. Fire.
No, these guys, you can't give them a chance to just ride on with this nonsense in the country, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a good thing that you do. For some reason, I had taped that pastor thing, So I said I was gonna email it, WhatsApp it to you, but I see you got it covered.
Yes.
No, I wanted to ask that same pastor if he ever heard of fellas like Groovy Bat, Angelo Arlene. I don't know if you remember the time when these guys were running Dominica, and young men in Dominica were afraid to go in the bush, just like how they were afraid to go in the bush because of that Kian Alexander kid. People were scared for their children to go in bush. Even though they have man that disappeared in Dominica and nobody know what happened to them. Angelo and them, Desmond Thomas, Archie Samuels, Joshua James, Kerry James. Let me tell you, those young policemen that we have, and I'm not calling out those names to say that these people are bad police officers, but this was law and order. It was their way or the highway. You guys
enforce the law in those days.
It was the law, but you're harassing these people doing the same work, and these guys these days, they're so respectful. They're so respectful. Look at how long it's taking them to fire a shot at doing somebody. You couldn't play those things with Angelo. You look at Angelo the wrong way, and Angelo bust up your face, brother. Huh?
Yes, sir.
What the same Randy would be talking about under the hands of Angelo? Huh? People, Angelo, and then stop people coming, countrymen coming from to town, Angelo just pull up with a jeep, and when jeep coming around corner full speed, everybody scattering, What was that? You have a bunch of respectful and law-abiding citizens that upholding the law, and you coming out and you chastising people and saying we have a lawless thing and just calling all this nonsense, all this stupidity talk. You and the leader of the opposition and all these people like Dominica so bad. You all forgot what used to happen. All these Patrick John apologists. All you forgot what used to happen in the 70s. Huh? The Dread Act. All you forgot about that. Huh? You don't even under siege in Dominica. We're under siege in Dominica right now.
Not at all.
What nonsense these people talking? What nonsense these people talking? These people just sit there and run them out. And it's time that people speak out. Because if the people living in Bells and Warner in these areas were being terrorized for the last, how many days? 14 days. And you have politicians and lawyers and all people on the radio station talking about and praising this guy as a hero and wanting national funeral of them. What does it say about the people and them that were being terrorized? Are they sitting back and just allowing these people to speak on their behalf and not coming out and saying, well, thank God this man's dead, that I can live in peace, I can go into my garden? Nobody comes to the defense of the police or the police officers who carry out their work. What kind of hypocrisy that is? On whose behalf is the leader of opposition and Matt and TNZ? On whose behalf are they speaking? Are they speaking on behalf of the people that were being affected? I mean, what nonsense is this here? These people just looking for their pound of flesh from anything they can get. It's just absolutely ridiculous that the commentary that goes on when the law police officers all around the world are known as peace officers. That is their job. By any means necessary, they're gonna bring peace or they're gonna prevent peace. It's the moniker, peace officers. Doesn't mean that you could walk down the street and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon you're walking down in the vicinity of an area that you know is heavily trafficked on a Wednesday, and when the police try to counteract your activity, you're crying out, what's wrong with these people? They're causing more confusion and more mayhem in the city. You are the cause of that. It's because of you walking around the vicinity at that time. The police officers have to come out and make sure that people are safe. Not because what you think in your mind and you want people to see, oh, we don't mean evil, we don't know. Because you guys, the rhetorics that you guys speak on this air, that you spew on Q95, all of you should be under the cell. You all want the police to relax so that you guys can just walk around and do whatever you want. Walking around, walking over the country and trying to make Dominica or trying to pretend that Dominica is what all your imagination can conjure up. It's ridiculous. Grown, old, hardback men heading towards their grave. They have very few summers left, and they don't know what to do with themselves, and they're trying to go out in a blaze. Nonsense with this thing about rhetoric and police. Yes, Prime Minister, build a police state to shut them down, to prevent these people from getting into power, because I don't want people like that getting in power. These people are no good. They have no good intentions for Dominicans. None at all. Not whatsoever. They're envious of your position. They're calling you names, and they can call you names all till the cow comes home. But it's just to scare tactic. It's just to get you scared. You heard the nonsense the man says the other day that it looks like that incident has break the Prime Minister. What kind of asinine statement?
Yeah. And that was the leader of the opposition saying that, the Prime Minister is a broken man because he was not successful in getting this child, and like as if they're not broken by that.
Absolute ludicrous BS. You're telling me that you don't have compassion in a situation like that. We all armchair quarterback in this thing. The man at the helm of the country, it affects the most. Huh? you're so ludicrous about the man's and his attitude. You envy the man for a milestone in his life. He should be at home. You know, he should be a broken man and should be at home.
I mean, come on, let's have a discussion there. In the United States recently, we heard of several attacks on schools, for example, where gunmen took guns, entered into the schools, and shot at many students and young children, you know, during their schooling. In this case, law enforcement came in, and you would have heard that they would have killed that individual instantly. You know, do you hear the public or the authority or whether it is the opposition or the Republican or which one, do you hear them taking sides or playing like as if the one who was shot is the victim, or making any plea or blaming the police or the law authorities for killing that individual who they know was dangerous and was at? If right now you approaching a school right now with a cutlass in your hand in the United States, they will shoot you if you coming in if you approaching them with a weapon because of what they have experienced. You know, I mean, this is a serious thing. We hear that all the time where they are killing these individuals who appear to them to be dangerous like that. Here in Dominica, when it happened, you have the opposition party trying to find a way to make it look like as if there is something wrong the police did. Yeah, man, come in.
No, it's so ludicrous. You have a man who committed a vicious act. You have a man who chopped up a man and kidnapped a child. That in itself is an incident. That in itself has a penalty for that. You're going to go to jail. You're going to be arrested because you wounded somebody and then you compounded it by kidnapping somebody. And then you playing hoops away or hide and seek with the police officer when they're out there doing their work looking for a thing. I can't walk down the street with a machete. Bro, I have a machete in my house. I have a machete in my house. And when you say I walk outside with my machete, is my neighbors and them going inside, you know. Yes. Just the brandishing of my machete, my weed are going to cut, you know, and cut out stubborn grass and vines growing around on the fence and stuff like that. These people see me with a machete, bro. It's just if I act crazy and I go down the street, they will either shoot me or they'll call a cop to shoot me.
Of course.
You go to the store where they're selling a machete. They ask me, why am I purchasing? You selling the machete. It's there for purchase. You asking me, why am I purchasing the machete? What am I going to use it to? To cut weeds. That's why you sell it.
Yes.
To cut weeds, to cut meat, whatever purpose that I choose to use it. But it's a menacing piece of device to have. People know what they do with it. Look at it. Ask the Haitians and the Dominican Republic people what they do with machete and things. They butcher people with that. And this kid, you know, looked like he had the 11th power, 11 devils in him, you know. Was taking this thing for a joke. How did you suppose? How was this coming to an end? Mr. Lawyer, how do you think this was going to... Was it legal what you used earlier today, Simeon, about his death?
What the lawyer said, he said extrajudicial, something like that, killing, yeah.
You don't find these people have no respect?
Yeah, he said it was, it was an extrajudicial killing, yes.
As a lawyer, you don't even have evidence of that. Oh. It's just based on assumption, but you're accusing the government. You're already accusing the government of committing that crime. So the guy didn't chop his relative, and he did not kidnap the child.
Strangely, these two factors were not even taken into their discussion.
I mean, what kind of rationale? Why are these people the people that are the mouth of reason in Dominica, and you have reasonable people and educated people listening to unreasonable rhetoric? That's what we're competing with. We're in an era of the big lie. And the big lie, the consequence of the big lie is people are not going to jail. People are not getting prosecuted. people are fighting tooth and nail since January 6th. And all the people that are implicit in the January 6th are defying law, the law authority. And that thing is trickling down all over the world. And we're in an era where the devil is taking charge. And in the end of times says it's not the mark of the beast. Diab 666. Go to your Bible, and the Bible says, beware of false preachers. That's the mark of the beast. Beware of false preachers. Ladies and gentlemen, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah, my brother,
yes,
have a good night.
Thank you, man.
Be safe, getting home.
Will do.
All right, bro?
Take care, man. Thanks again. Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you again for your contribution. Yeah, it's already 19 past 11. They got to make my way out of there. But this is not a joke, people. I mean, the opposition is trying to pin the police as bad. They're trying to pin the authority as bad. But the authority is the one that is there protecting the citizens of this country. It is the authority that we turn to when, somebody causes harm. That's why we turn to the authority. And so when people tend to take the law into their hands and commit offenses as what we saw this guy was doing, who is now dead. It is what the opposition leader was asking Dominicans to do. That's what he was asking them to do. Yes, when he asked them to take stones and throw after the police, when you throw stones after the police, what you expect will come to you in return? You go taking stones and firebombing the police. What do you expect? That's what Lennox Linton was asking Dominicans to do, to attack the police. Now, had the police defend themselves now, what would they have said in return when you have people in an opposition who tells you that you should not respect law of the authority, you should not respect the authority, that you should that you have more power than the authority in power have. You should know you are dealing with dangerous people. That's why Lennox Linton, he never go in front, He always somewhere hiding, trying to take a picture like in February 7th when he was in Roseau and Matt Peltier catch him in Roseau. They're filming with his camera, with his short pants and laughing and smiling because he saw violence. He saw people destroying the place. He saw people breaking and destroying properties of fellow laborites. He took pride and pleasure in seeing that kind of action, asking them to take the law. The UWP, they are the ones that is on record as asking people to break the law, as asking people to go against the law. But when they finish, they want to come in power to enforce. How will you enforce the law if you are known to be asking people to break the law? You can mod as always. It's always a pleasure doing this program for you, my people. I want to thank all of you who called in tonight, and those of you who did not call but you always listen. Thank you for listening. And to all the folks who join us on the Kyrie FM Facebook page, I want to thank you all for listening and tuning in every day as we continue to discuss the issues of this country. Yes, we will continue to discuss all of the political issues as they continue to happen, because it is important that we deal with it one time. I always say that when you do not deal with the issues, you allow it to grow like a cancer. A cancer is something, if you get it early, you can cure it. If you allow it to continue without you treat it in time and it get to category 3 or 4 on you, once you get to those stages there, then there is not much that can be done. Here on the next level, we deal with it as it comes. And this wicked set of people in the opposition party, we will continue to address the issues as they continue to raise them. Again, let's continue to pray for the safe return of this child. If she is still alive, let's continue to pray for a safe return. And if that guy who is now dead, yes, did something to her on that night when he took her from this uncle of his at Warner, if he did something to her, that he killed her, wherever he put her body, we pray that God will lead us to it and that we will find whatever it is that is of her remains. We pray, though, that this is not the case. But that's all we can do now, because it is in God's hands And we pray that God will lead one of our officers and the many citizens who are on this search to find her wherever she is. Let us keep this search going on, people. Today is day 14. We know it is a long way. I don't know how this man could be feeding this child like the mother said, or be taking care of this child like she was stating. I don't know how she could come up with her mind and think that this crazy man who viciously tried to kill her brother could be doing the good things that she said he was doing. But let's pray, if at all during the time he was alive, that he did feed her and he did give her water and he did give her something that would cause us by now to be able to, hopefully, if God spare our life, be able to find her. We pray to God for her safe return. And those wicked people outside there that want to try to turn this guy into a victim, knowing what he did, knowing the fear that he created in the community of Bells, Warner, and the surroundings areas where he patronized, knowing how dangerous of a person he was, and are now saying that he, are playing the sorry game and forgetting that there is a 12-year-old missing, still missing, and we don't know what really happened to her. We wish that he could have been there, but it was not God's will. You see, I always say God have a way of doing things. He make things happen when it have to happen. He allow things to happen when it have to happen. If it was his will that boy would have survived, that he would have had, no matter what could have happened, he would have survived it. But the devil wanted his soul, obviously. And that's what happens sometimes when you go and play with the devil, when you go and take evil devices. For those because the Bible speaks of evil devices, for those who go in and mess around with the devil and thinking that you can do this and you can do that and you can play with the devil because you want that, you want this, you want that, and you go and mess with the devil. The devil have no mercy for nobody. He have no mercy. He show you what you should steal and then he call the police for you so the police can arrest you. That is what the devil is. And if you say you go in and hang yourself somewhere, the devil will make sure somebody pass and drop a rope there for you so you can hang yourself. The devil have no love in him. So don't be a devil worshipper. And don't follow no Afimate and no UWP, whether you use a UWP right, and go in no goddamn cemetery and pray over no grave. Let the dead bury the dead. Don't go and pray and try to think you're invoking a dead spirit and that dead spirit going to come against Labour Party. No. That dead spirit going to come in your home. It's going to affect your family. It's going to affect your children. And it may very well affect your whole generation. So go on your knees and pray to the God Almighty and ask him for mercy and peace and longevity for you and your family. Anyway, I got to make my way out of there. So let's pray for our political leader, Dr. Skerrit, as he continues to lead this country. Let's pray for every single minister of government that God will continue to guide them and protect them as they continue their duties of this country. Every senator and every person and every officer who is out there in the mountains of this country and in the communities searching for these children. Let's ask God to give them the strength and protect them during the course as they continue to do everything that is possible to bring this child safely home to us. And for the grieving parents of this boy who was killed, we ask God to bless her too and to protect them, because they too need protection, because no parents want to bring a child into this earth to lead them into this kind of a disaster like this boy just did to his parents. And that's one of the reasons why they told Matt Peltier they didn't have a problem if the police shoot him, because they too had grown too tired of what he was breeding on their own living. And so we ask God to protect them and to bless them and guide them as they go through this moment of grief as they have lost their son at this point in time. Again, my name is Simeon Albert saying it's always a pleasure doing this program for you. I want to thank you all again and continue to have a wonderful night rest. We'll be back here on Saturday as we continue to examine the issues and report to you on the new development of what's happening with this case. God bless you again. Do have a wonderful night. And I just got to make my way out of here. And I leave you with none other than our favorite tune, We Shall Not Be Moved. Good night and God bless you.
We shall not be moved. The trees. Everybody. Shall not be moved. not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and all the slander, try to mislead the people with their hate and all their evil. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The best thing that happened to this country is Garrett and the Labour Party. We wanna bring to bankruptcy. Now have a growth in the economy. Got a leader with endless vision, youthfulness and dedication. Suspect that things would be tight. Went to China on the next flight. Cuba and Venezuela, what a brilliant leader. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and their slander, try to mislead my people with their hate and evil. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. That's it. Inshallah, no question, inshallah, no question, inshallah, no question, inshallah. Everybody, put up something red, wave it over your head. Inshallah, all of them forget the Carib people. Labour stepping, they want to cause trouble. For the Kalinagos had no respect, exploiting them on the water project. Supreme Court said used to bow to Labour to build their seawall. Geo, they would have to back it. Water tank on Labour fix it. Whether you teacher, leader, elder, must give credit to Labour. You better believe it. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Look out for we 5-star hotel, highway to Posse as well, seaport reconstruction, rosary modification. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Chance up. Inshallah, no question, inshallah, no question, inshallah. Talk something red, wave them over your head. Some will never see the importance to give up for people assistance. So they have a problem with the clinic. Measures say they want to block it. Imagine they get in office, what would be their wicked practice? It's for people who put you there. At all time you got to show you care. The party in a working mood, don't interrupt that move. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The government helping squatters to get their land and quarters, helping people. Some of you have an issue. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. You better know inshallah, no question, inshallah, no question, inshallah. Everybody! Hey! Raise up something red, wave that over your head. Indeed, it is first time in our history people get medical for free. 18 and under and over 65. You shall never be deprived. Big focus and human resource, people well-being's compass, universal education, scholarship and transportation. What a selfless party would invest our country. Yeah. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters. Labour Party shall not be moved.